Hey guys, what's good? It's Joe B, and you are listening to Paintball Passport, the podcast dedicated to stories and all the experiences you can get. Okay, we are live.
What's up?
What is
We're live.
good?
Yeah.
Uh, Good afternoon, good morning, good what?
Good, all of them. I'm a man of the world, so they're all valid here. They're all valid. But currently, yeah, tuning in from Borneo, the island of Borneo. It's the third largest island in the world, and it houses actually three countries. So it houses within Borneo, the island there's Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei, which is one of the smallest countries in the world, I think, if not the smallest country in the world. And I'll be heading there on Sunday. That will be my last country in Southeastern Asia on the bucket list. So then, after Saturday, after that, I will have completed Southeastern Asia from a country list standpoint. Of course, there's a lot more things to see, but that'll be the final country. So I'm very excited for Brunei. There's a team there actually a pretty big paintball community there. I'm going to be hosting a clinic there. So I don't know if this podcast will air before Saturday, Sunday, but if you're in Brunei and you're listening, we'll see you there. And if you're not, we had a great time in Brunei. So
This actually should air before then. I don't
cool.
have like scheduled release times. This is a pretty casual podcast. I think I told you a little bit about it, but it's honestly, I just want to capture travel stories. So it's going to be kind of whenever I am able to do it, hopefully one or two a week.
Cool.
But yeah, yours should go up this week. So I got no reason not to.
So take out your phone and look at Borneo, Borneo, and then zoom in, and you'll see the whole island. So it's a massive island, and I'm on the top right portion of it. The top portion of it is Malaysia, the Malaysian side of it, and then on the right side, close to the border of Indonesia, it's kind of the top right portion. There is this little little town, fishing town called Semporna, Samporna, and I'm there. I'm on this. I'm overlooking the ocean here in my hotel. There's a whole bunch of islands. I've been scuba diving every day, almost every day. Um,
Damn.
so it's been a great adventure. Yeah. Let's see. Get a
Wow.
little view here. I don't know if that'll work.
A little bit clear. Oh, it just cleared up. It's
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
glary
it's
beyond
the
the
it's
porch.
kind of the boardwalk, and then ocean view.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some really good dive sites here. I'm a certified rescue diver, as you know, Joe.
Yeah.
Um, we went to that's another story, but we had
It
a diving
is.
adventure, a few diving adventures together,
We'll
actually.
have that one eventually, but
Yeah.
yeah, did you learn about this island because of that diving adventure? Like, was this one of the suggested ones from whatever that guy was, the
Wayne.
50-year-old instructor, Wayne? Yeah.
No, so this location, I mean, I knew I wanted to dive here I've got like a 2 month, basically from after Cup until our first Dynasty practice at the end of January in San Diego. I've got like a 2 month window that I've been traveling around and working from my computer, also doing some paintball clinics. I've had This will be the third paintball clinic. I played a tournament as well in Thailand. So it's just nomadic life for 2 months, Harrison. Typical Asia life.
Sweet.
And this particular spot, I mean, Borneo is a very well known island. It's the third, like I said, third largest island in the world, and it's really known for its nature. So before this, how do we want to go? Do we want to start from
Yeah,
Cup, or do we want
I
to go backwards?
I was gonna tell you the what I was thinking here. So
All right,
why
lay it on me.
I've been excited for this particular podcast because a lot of other people have been telling me stories of their favorite travel, and they have to bring it back from memory. But what I a big reason I wanted to start this paintball passport was to catch up with my friends like during or right after their travels when it's fresh.
Mm.
And you're the only one I can think of even doing it right now. I'm not doing it, and none of the other like well-known travel guys are doing it. So this is kind of cool because rather than being so Q&A, just pretend like it's me calling you like we normally do. And that's been a big reason that I haven't really hit you up or wanted
Mhm.
to like catch up this whole time, because I was like, I gotta get this fucking thing done. And then when we do catch up, we'll just catch up like it's me and you, only I'll get to record the stories that we always get to share with each other. So it
Yeah,
should be
cool. I like
pretty,
it.
yeah,
I think
it'll feel
it's a
more
really cool
organic.
format. Really cool format for a podcast. I congratulate you, Joe. When you first told me about this, I was like, "That's dope. I want to be on it for sure, and probably multiple times because I got
Mhm.
lots of stories, and I know you do too. And many of them are us together, like that time in in Australia when you. We'll talk about that one later. Um, yeah, no, I mean, we have so many stories together, and they're
Mhm.
just crazy adventures, and then solo trips as well. This one's you haven't joined me, um, but here we are.
Yeah.
So you
I'm
want to
gonna
start
I'm gonna
from
I'm gonna
maybe
tell you
backwards?
exactly where. So I get to live vicariously through you
Okay,
from the last moment that we talked, and
okay,
that was pretty much. Uh, I remember it clear as day. We were both done with World Cup. Sweet. You and Dynasty won. Pretty fucking sweet. 4 times in a row, if I recall. Pretty fucking sweet.
yeah,
But then we get into the other part of our life that we enjoy a lot. Dynasty, NXL, Infamous, all that is for competing and pushing ourselves. But when the off season hits and we get to travel, then we get to teach the sport, and we get to like learn more about the world and see shit. And I remember I hit you up and I was like, "Hey, this was 1 week before MXL finals," and I said, "Guess what? Turns out I'm going to Puerto Vallarta. I wasn't planning to, but Corey Hall is injured, and TJ Bastards asked me, so you want to go there a few days early and we can link up in Sayulita? We've done that a few times before. It was going to
right.
be a good time. We kind of chatted about it a little bit. And then I want to say 2 or 3 days before, I hit you up and said, okay, I'm going to fly out in like 2 days from now. I'll see you in Mexico. And you told me, my team actually isn't coming. Personal
All
issues
right.
with the owner, whatever. And I am going to Asia instead. And that was
Yeah.
that.
So all right, I'll start from there. So after World Cup, I had I think it was like 3 weeks in between Cup and MXL.
Mm-hmm.
I played a 10-man event with the OG Hurricanes, which is awesome because, I mean, I grew up watching those guys, and now they're calling me their ringer, which is so cool. To go out and play with them. So we won that event too. Really cool. And then yeah, I mean, I was really basically every December and January I kind of take time and travel because it's the off season. It's Christmas, so there's more excuse to kind of not be online. I do have I run a business as well. Apart from paintball, I run a business in Web3 and blockchain. We can get into that later, but basically we host different merger and acquisition deals and secondary OTC deals and things like that. But anyways, there's time to be offline during Christmas. I'm the youngest of my family, so there's no reason to be home for Christmas anymore. There's no magic, from little kids running around, which is starting to change because my brother actually just had a kid, and it's wonderful. As it being an uncle is I never thought I would feel this way,
Yeah,
for a kid, for a little blob. But I'm like, I just look at his pictures and it sinks my heart. It's crazy.
dude, I'll say I know
Um,
what you mean, because
yeah,
Josh has a kid now, and like
yeah,
honestly,
rolling.
I could say he's closer to me than my brother just because we've lived near each other or with each other for like 10 plus years. And I've never been a guy who likes babies. Like, that's a well-known thing. I'm not saying I hate babies, but I don't like being around babies. They shit and
Baby
scream and all
puncher.
that. Yeah, I'm the baby puncher. It's not true. But oh god, I hate babies on airplanes. But when I'm around Kai, I feel like I fucking love this little being. And,
Yeah.
you know, like they call me his uncle. So I feel what you're going through now because you're like, this is super cool. Like it's a very special thing when your own family starts to have the little ones. And yeah, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
sweet.
So anyways, it was probably a week and a half before MXL, and I get in the group chat, the MXL group chat, like I always do, and I'm the captain there. So I'm like, all right, who put together it's like a quiz, right? Okay, who put together the layouts? Who's naming the layouts? And what I want them to do is to volunteer, send it to me, and then we'll adjust and go from there because that's how a team should work, right? Instead of me
Mhm.
just doing it. And then they're like, "Oh, you didn't hear we're not going." I'm like, "No, nobody told me, so no, I didn't hear." It's just like the communication is very funny with the Mexicans.
Mhm.
Anyways, so I confirmed it with our team owner, Danny. I played for the Rangers, Matamoros Rangers for like 3-4 years now, and it's been amazing time. Just this last event they couldn't do it because just some financial troubles, but it's been I hope to continue to play for them and continue to teach them and be a part of their team, and they're amazing people.
Yeah, they're a sweet team.
Yeah, it's great, and we won a whole bunch of events. We won the series last year, um, and yeah, so so then I was like, and I think you and I were talking at the same time, like making plans for Mexico,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh well, I guess I'm not going to Mexico because I had plans to go from Mexico to Argentina afterwards, and I was going to actually spend this whole time in December, January, in Argentina, and then whatever else, Paraguay, Uruguay,
Yep.
Brazil. I was going to figure it out from there. I was going to start in Argentina. Um, my girl, her friend was getting married in Argentina.
Mhm.
I don't know them, but it's excuse to go party in Argentina with locals.
Yeah.
Local wedding sounds great, right? Um, make a bunch of friends.
I remember you told me this plan, and
Yeah,
that was the other surprising part was when you said you weren't going to Mexico. I was like, and then you said Asia. I was like, oh, you just did a full 180.
yeah.
It was a different part of the world that you were going to explore this
Yes.
year.
So I called my girl and I was like, hey, Lilia is my wife's name, and I said,
Delia.
how good is this friend, to you, and like, do you really have to go to Argentina? And it was never really a have to; it was a want to. So I said, hey, I
Mhm.
got invited also to go to Asia this year. In December, it was December 3rd, which is my birthday. That weekend, um, there was a tournament in Asia as well,
What was that
in,
tournament?
in Thailand, in Pattaya, which, if you don't know anything about Asia and specifically Pattaya, Pattaya is the Las Vegas of Thailand,
For sure.
without the casinos. So, as in, like, everything goes.
It's
Whatever you want, you can get. Everything has a price.
yep.
Uh, you know, drugs, alcohol, women, whatever it is. It
Yeah.
is it's Sin City
It's
again.
Sin City
So,
on the beach, and anything
on the
goes
beach,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a great destination. And then paintball, plus paintball, a bunch of friends there. Great. And so basically, I joined. It's the FAK, or FACK, Filipino American Contract Killers. So it was basically me. There's actually a pretty big Filipino paintball scene within the Philippines and then within the U.S. because there's a lot of people that live in the U.S. that are Filipino roots. And Ronnie is actually Filipino roots.
Yep.
TJ Augustin or sorry, JP Augustin is one as well.
Yeah.
So they're kind of in this circle. It's really cool. And if you are Filipino, you should check it out. I think they have Facebook group, a really supportive group and
Hmm.
cool people.
Yeah.
And
Shout
they
out to the
always,
Filipino guys because
yeah.
they came to NXL this year, and I've seen them at even a random ICPL 10 man as the
Yeah,
Philippines
they
team.
love throwing teams in and just going and having a great time, and
Yeah.
it was really great. So shout out to Ferdy, who invited me out and helped me get here and everything, and put the team together as well. Um, and it was also cool. So I I looked at our roster. There's a lot of guys I didn't know, which now I'm really good friends with. We're still in a group chat. And we're still talking, talking funny things,
What
group chat things.
happens.
Because you see sometimes the group chat fizzles out, but this one it's still going.
Well, especially because you
So
won together, right? So not to spoiler alert it, but it kind of
right, so
keeps that
we
vibe
won
up. Yeah, it makes you
yeah,
all look closer.
and it was really cool. So it's two of the Colorado Blitz guys were on the team as well, and CJ Shambler, who used to play pro with Boom,
Yeah, he
and
plays
I was
on
like,
Phoenix Rising too. He's a baller.
yeah, he's a really great player, and he's got a lot of experience, and
Hmm.
so I saw him on the roster, like, oh, this is gonna be great. And then also Caesar, I had just met him as well. He played on, he plays semi-pro as well for Colorado Blitz. So, so yeah, I mean, like, you go to these Asian events, you got like three solid dudes, me, myself, and him, and then we had two like dudes that just totally stepped up, and we had like a really good line, and then we had a
Sweet.
whole bunch of other guys that we moved in and filtered in, and actually MVP was Murdoch. This guy, I had never met him before. I never heard him before, and he crushed it in the snake and got MVP. And it was like that, hands down, like he crushed it. So
Hmm.
it was really
That's
cool.
true.
And then I don't know if do you know Waldo? He's from I guess he runs the what's it called? Tri-State X-Ball League. T Tri-State
I know the league you're
TSBL.
talking about, yeah,
Yeah.
because it came about after I moved away. But I feel like I've met him once,
Yeah.
but I can't say I know him.
Yeah, so he actually has been fighting cancer for the past few years, and this has been like the first time he's been strong enough to actually like go on an international trip.
Wow.
So it was just one of the the coolest things to have him around, and like he was just a beacon of like light, and like I
Hmm.
mean, this is a dude he told me he told me some stories, right? And just having this second chance of life, and like I've been to Asia before. I've done a lot of it. I've won in Asia. I've won in lots of different countries, and for me, it's still amazing. It's still so cool. But to see these guys' face, and like to especially Waldo, where he wasn't sure he was going to be alive, right now,
Hmm.
and just to see him like he cried a little bit, when we won,
Yeah.
and that like for me, I know it was so amazing, such a crazy, feeling of having no like personal ego or no personal happiness, but all outward facing happiness for these
Hmm.
guys that had won, that I really bonded with over the past week, and when you're stranded in an Asian country, and yeah, we just had so many good times, and it was a really positive experience, for me personally, and I hope for them as well. And
Well,
like I said,
that is
we're
sweet.
still homies in the group chat. So
Yeah.
yeah, it
So
couldn't have been better.
that man, that's such a great win, and I know where you're coming from because like once you've won enough of these like random tournaments abroad where it's not pro ball, like we've played against the very best, so you win those, and there is like it feels good, of course, to get the win and take the medal home, but it's not as fulfilling as like winning an NXL or even like going far in NXL. So when you see somebody else get their first win or like literally complete a life bucket list thing,
Right.
that is like, man, it makes you so fucking happy. And
Yeah.
yeah, just happiness for others really is it's becoming quite like a I guess a central pillar of life at our ages, I guess, right? We're in our 30s and you start to live more for the dudes around you. And yeah, it's that one's particularly cool, I guess. Like,
Yeah. Well said. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's almost better. I mean, I think it's almost a better feeling than even when it was my first win myself, right? Just to be able to like share, like have that experience, and help contribute to it, to
Mhm.
to these other people around you. And I played great, but so did everybody else, and it was totally team ball. It was like it was very semi-pro style. Like we just cross it up, and like communicated really well and won. And we got Waldo in there a bunch of points. He played really good. He was shooting guys off the break more than CJ was. So
Impressive.
CJ, you got a spot. You're might be losing a spot here. And yeah, we got him in the last point too, and he crushed it. So
I might have
it
to
was
get
really
this
cool.
Waldo guy on soon because I'm mostly pros,
Yeah,
but I'm
actually,
gonna get
you
on
should.
people that
No, you
have
should.
interesting stories while traveling for paintball. And this
Yeah.
is a really cool one because he'd be telling it from a whole other light of like, dude, I have a second chance at life and I'm now doing these things that I wanted.
Right.
Yeah, I'd love to have that dude on. So I'll have to ask you to connect me with him later.
Yeah,
But
I will.
I want
And he actually did a little bit of extra travel after. I know he went to Abu Dhabi for like a layover, like a long layover. So I think he's got
sweet.
some cool stories as well.
That's
Yeah, it was
tight.
cool.
Well, I want to slow you down and have you talk about things because I mean I wasn't there, but also like, I feel like me and you are good storytellers. We're good at like painting the picture, really articulating like how the whole event was when we're there. And so like I guess first give me a picture of where the event was. Like tell me about the venue for this particular Thai event.
Sure. So you fly into Bangkok, right, which is one of the biggest cities in Southeastern Asia, and it's a really cool city.
Yeah.
And then and usually you get in at like midnight or something crazy. But for you, if you're coming from the States, it's actually just noon, right? Because it's literally from the East Coast, it's 12
Mhm.
hours opposite. Um, so you're wired because it's noon. You just got off a flight. You try to do the sleep thing on the flight. Do the math like, okay, if I stay awake all night, and then you try and do it best you can, but it's never perfect, right?
It never works.
Consume caffeine. I actually got pretty good at it. You consume caffeine at the right times, and anyways, and I'm never a caffeine drinker, so it works pretty well in
Mhm.
general. But yeah, so you arrive at midnight. You download Grab, which is like their version of Uber. You take like a $20 Grab, like 2 hours to Pattaya, um, and well, this is what I did. Yeah, so I took a 2 hour. I was a little. My flight got delayed, so I was late. They hung out in Bangkok for a day or two, and then went down as a team, and I came in late. So I got to the hotel at like 2 or 3 a.m. And they're all like trying to sleep, but because it's 12 hours, they're up again at like 6 a.m., right? 5 a.m. because it's 5 p.m. for them. Um, so I try and get as much sleep as I can, wake up like, all right, you do your best to do a full swap. And sleep. Sometimes you don't feel that great, but then you chug a coffee and you get through it.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, we had a day where we went and walked. That same day, woke up at like noon, went and walked the fields, and I think we actually played that. Yeah, I got there the day before. Pretty sketchy, but got there. Woke up at like. Fortunately, we had late games, so roll up to the park at like noon on the paintball field, and it's beautiful. So this investor down there, this guy that loves paintball, he invested in a property just outside Pattaya. So it's not right on the strip or anything,
Mhm.
and it's he made it for paintball. So it's like really flat concrete slabs, really nice facility. So I can describe it. So you go up and there's actually a life size Megatron, um, like statue there, like real
Sick.
life, or is it Bumblebee? Whatever, Megatron, Bumblebee, one of those guys.
Yeah.
Um, like right there at the front of the paintball park, and then you walk in. That the field's on your right. There's like a little scenario field on your left that we were pitting in as well, and it's really nice. Like if you could design the perfect paintball park, this would a lot of this layout would be how you would do it. Um,
Nice.
had nice pits. They had a really nice webcast and a commentator's booth. Really flat, slick turf. It got a little slick. We had to put socks on over our cleats because it was extra slippery. Um, and yeah, it's especially in Asia. Like there's just stuff you can't control. Like the paint was really bouncy.
Mhm.
sometimes the area doesn't fill up all the way. These things that you deal with when you're going and playing in these crazy countries. This one was very actually well controlled, particularly. But we were putting our paint in ice boxes, which I think was a big help.
Oh yeah, you did it right. Was it super hot and humid? Like, what's the temperature like right now?
Yeah, so it actually wasn't that bad this time.
Okay.
But I know Asia, and like there's times in Asia where as soon as you
Yeah.
walk out of the hotel, like out of AC, your whole clothes, like you have like nice fresh shirt on. It's just wet and drenched in sweat,
Stuck to
and
you.
like totally, totally, yeah. Like you do shorts and flip flops a lot, and like a loose
Hmm.
shirt. Um, so yeah, the venue was nice. Also, Mark Johnson put in a team as well, or I guess he joined a team. It was a WCCPL team.
Sweet.
Regime
I
with
saw
GJ.
that.
Yeah,
And
with GJ and
Podesta, probably.
Ryan Podesta was there. Yep. Yeah, and a bunch of
Yeah.
guys that I met. So it was really cool too because like on Sunday night we all went out together, our team and their team, because it was like two American teams basically, um, or a lot of American roots, and we had some other local teams that were with us hanging out.
Hmm.
Um, we all went out and partied on the strip and everything. It was really cool. Um, but so here's actually a great moment. I walked up to into the field the first day, and I haven't been to Asia since before COVID, 2019.
Yeah,
When
same.
I played an event, actually, you and I. Oh no, you weren't. That was the year before.
Yeah, the day
Um,
before.
yeah. Um, so I haven't been to Asia for 4 years, and I have some really really good friends here, like really local, good friends. I've played on several different teams here from Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand. So local guys. Indonesia, I've been, so like just shout out to the whole Asian paintball community. Like they're so warm and welcoming and just
Yeah.
pure people, and they just want to have fun, and like they're always smiling and joking and happy, and like and they're some of them are really good players too.
Yeah.
So just walking in that first time, there's all these people I haven't seen in 4 or 5 years, and maybe we talked a few times on online or on DM or something, and just so many hugs, and like I just couldn't stop smiling. Like, oh, I haven't seen you for so long, like so many hugs, and everyone just so happy to see me, and I'm happy to see them, and it was
Hmm.
really cool. It was like coming to like your high school reunion or something. Well, that's actually terrible
More
because
like
high
your
school high
homecoming,
school reunions.
like if you
Yeah,
were coming home from working abroad or something
right.
like that. Because I know that feeling you're talking about. It's like even if you don't have time to talk to everyone, there's just that embrace from them all. And like you almost in that moment wish you talked to them more online or like WhatsApp called
Yeah,
them or and we never do because there's just too many people in everyone's lives. But you
yeah,
get there and it's like there's just that love for each other of like, I fucking remember those times years ago. And yeah,
yeah.
like every hug feels more meaningful. Like it's sweet.
Yeah, and just telling stories of like, remember that time we were in downtown Bangkok and this and that, and just like all these stories. I've,
Yeah.
we've both traveled over here, multiple times, and it's just, it's great. So,
It
um,
traps you in the moment. There's never a need to like, be on Instagram or like
yeah,
call somebody who's not there right there with you. Like you're just very it keeps you super present because it's like, I don't know, it's always the most alive I've ever been traveling, but specifically in Asia, because the energy of the people and like the beautiful tropical environment, you're just the whole time you're just cloud fucking nine. Like, I can't
yeah,
believe we're fucking doing this, like you're in paradise.
yeah. Southeastern Asia is my favorite region in the world to travel, like by far.
Mhm.
It's just everything's like everything is so different here. Like, I mean, I'm looking out at this island, and it just there's no island that looks like that in America. Like
Mhm.
nothing. It's just the shape of everything, and it's not bad. It's not better. It's just different, and like you discover so many new things, and it's the I scuba dive here a lot, and like the shape of the things here, and like the
Mhm.
crustaceans here, like they have this weird lobster thing. It just it's so cool. and just different.
Yeah. Well, now you're pretty used to it by now. It's different and still gorgeous, but you're used to it. But do you remember that first time or two,
Yeah.
like that? Can you explain that culture shock or like those things that were like, holy fucking shit, this is so backwards or surprising or like alien looking? Do you remember those?
So my first time I ever came to Asia, I actually went to Dubai first for a tournament, and then I had like a week or two in between. I stopped over in India. I like just India is a whole nother like story. I, yeah, just everything's different, right? Like even the crows are different. Like the birds are
Yeah.
different. It's just the common crow, right? They have like a different red spot in it. Like they're
Mhm.
just so. I remember getting sick too for the first time in Bangkok. That same trip, and just like shitting my brains out
Typhoid
and
fever.
like yeah,
Yeah.
so so many times in Asia. Knock
Yeah.
on wood.
But
Um,
like, I asked this because like you could even say it now. Like by now, not that you take the trip for granted, but like your mind takes it for granted. You know what I mean? Like it's now like, oh, yep, that's gonna happen here. But if you could explain, if you can look outside around you or what you've done and remember those things that everybody else listening to this who hasn't been to Asia would be like, wait, what? Like that's something that I forget about too, where I'm like, I always act like everybody knows this or can picture this, but you know what I mean? Like try to paint that out for us because there's a lot there that, it's wild and it's just no longer wild once you're there your second, third, fourth time. It's wild, but you know it. You know what I mean?
I
It's
mean,
never.
give me a specific topic because there's like
Oh man. You know what? I'll go with the weird one first because I said this podcast was going to give the good and the bad. It's not just going to make places look like picture perfect paradise. Tell me about the bathroom experience because I
oh
this is
man,
people have
yeah,
to know this shit.
that takes getting used to for sure. So if you're at
Mhm.
like a Gringo hotel, like a normal hotel, it's the same, right?
Yeah,
Toilet paper, regular toilet, all good.
everything's the
Um,
same.
but when you're like deep and you know that you're at like a local spot, like for example, on my way here, I took the local bus. I was the only Gringo on the bus, and
Hmm.
we stopped at like kind of rest stops, right, in like different restaurants, and um, you go to the bathroom, and it's not like a toilet, like like hip height toilet, right, or like whatever thigh height toilet. It's a flush to the ground porcelain circle, right? And you hover on either side and you squat. You do the Slavic squat, which is actually the proper way
Hmm.
to go number two. Um, doing the squat over it. It's much it's much better for you.
Yeah,
Um,
straightens out the bowels, makes it go
yeah,
faster and smoother.
right. It's I don't know how we got away from it, but we did. Like as a
Hmm.
Western society. um, and then you reach for the toilet paper and there just isn't any.
There's
Um,
none.
there's either, if you're lucky, there's a butt gun, okay, which is it's just like the sink at your house. You know how you have that the hose with the spray thing,
Hmm.
on your kitchen sink. There's the spray thing. So there's one of those if you're lucky, and if you're not lucky, there's just a bucket of water with like a ladle.
Yeah.
You just have to like splash up there.
Yep, the ladle.
Um, and then if you're really unlucky, you go out and there's just a sink. Eh,
Oh,
if you're less lucky, there's a sink with soap. If you're even less lucky, then there's a sink with no soap. And if you're even the worst lucky, then there's just a bucket. So you're washing your hands in a bucket with no soap, and you just use the ladle with a bucket to wash yourself.
oh
And
my
and
God.
if you're even the worst of luck, then you're shitting your brains out because you have Montezuma's revenge, or
Yeah.
whatever else. So I've been in all those situations, and somehow haven't learned to bring wet napkins with me. I probably should have that. That should be like on my list of things to
Yeah.
bring, but I just never did. That's
So,
why
dude,
traveling with a girl helps in that regard
mhm,
because they always
they're
have hand sanitizer
they're
and
prepared.
and
So,
like sunscreen. I got gringoed yesterday. My back is super red.
So wait, hold that because we're coming back to that in a second. But this is me and you catching up right now. Like this is like our phone call. So I wanted to tell you about the MXL's bathroom situation in Puerto Vallarta. It was kind of like Arturo's Field, where it did have like a little bathroom house, like a little concrete house with toilets in it, but it was not as good as Arturo's Field. It was the classic situation where you walk in, there's stalls where there's no handles on the stalls because people steal them off. And then there's toilets and there's never a toilet seat. There's never a fucking lid because if they get them, people just steal them because it's near a soccer park or a park where people hang out or whatever. And there's not even toilet paper holder, but there's a little old lady out front selling toilet paper for like, 5 pesos or whatever. I was smart enough this time, like what you just said. I brought hand sanitizer, wet wipes, and I would bring my own full toilet paper roll from the hotel. I would just keep it in my gear bag.
Nice.
And I'd occasionally let some of my teammates use it. They need it, and nobody really did. But every morning, coffee, I'd get there, I'd be like, oh my God, I got to use the fucking bathroom, right? And the worst part, this is a weird to Mexico, South America thing is, and you know this, you can't flush there. Like if you flush, there's even signs it will clog the toilet because they're piping
the toilet
drainage
paper,
is like,
right?
yeah,
You have to put the toilet paper.
So there's always a goddamn garbage can right next to each toilet, who just open air garbage can filled with poop paper, and it just stinks like shit in there, and it's horrific. The whole time you're sitting there, you're just, oh my God, dude. And it's the worst thing ever. And then there's a bucket to flush the toilet, but you can't put the water in there. It'll overflow. I've seen that happen. Like you walk in and bathrooms are like, God damn it, somebody clogged it with paper. And sometimes you see people leave and you're like, wait, I didn't see that person buy toilet paper. So like people are just running around with mud butt all day. It is horrific, dude. Something's got to be done.
So 2 points. I actually have come to appreciate when you have to pay to use the bathroom, because it's always like, when you're in like other countries, it's a good thing. You want to pay 50 cents to go use the bathroom. And now in the US, it's crazy, right? Like, I'm not going to pay to use the bathroom. I want to do that because that means there's someone working there and it's their business and it's relatively clean, right? And it's they care about it. Because otherwise, it's just a fucking hole in the ground, right? Like, go at it. So paying 50 cents to go use the bathroom is a blessing.
Agreed.
In some of these places. And then number 2 is when there is that bucket. So yeah, you usually you can't flush the toilet paper, right? You got to put it in the trash can. I don't understand. So there's 2 types of trash cans, right? There's basically a trash can without a lid, and then there's a trash can with the lid that it's got both sides and it swings on either side. Well, how am I supposed to take this and push it into the trash can lid? Like,
it is disgusting.
I'm gonna get poop on it. There's no way. So I'm like, I just go no lid. Like no lid trash can is better, I think, than the lid trash can.
It's
gross in that case, unless it was a foot pedal one, which is the best solution of both. But that's not the case usually, right?
You rarely see that.
Yeah, usually it's like the triangle with 2 sides, and it can go either way. And I never actually get it in. I get it like halfway in, and
I
don't want to.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
I agree.
Next topic.
Not a lot of good sanitation in a lot of other parts, and although I feel like I like a lot of those areas more than the U.S. as far as like just the vibe and like your day-to-day life, there are some things that we take for granted. I'm like, oh my God, I am excited to get home where I have like a toilet that fully flushes and a bidet on it, and a sink right next to it with soap on it. Before I then go back out into the restaurant and eat food or whatever it is. So, yeah.
I actually have. So, like, I've been traveling Asia long enough that I know like all the kind of the country's like local medicines to help when you have diarrhea and stuff. So I always stock up when I'm here. So I got this one from Malaysia. This is the best one. And there's a few other. This is the one. Tek Chin Food On or whatever.
Ah,
This is like if you have a hurt stomach, and it happened actually because I was in KL, Kuala Lumpur, the capital
mhm.
of Malaysia, and I like ate something and just it wasn't diarrhea, it was just like a knife in my stomach, like oh that's not good. And I was with my Eddie, Eddie Ioff, from my Malaysian team, and his girl was like, I got you. Boom. She ran to the store, bought this for like 50 cents, put it in hot water, drank it, fixed, like instantly.
Wow.
Like this stuff is great. I've got there's a bunch of stuff from Thailand that's really good that I always buy. These sniffers are awesome. I know you know these.
Oh
They're
yeah.
they're like menthol um,
Hmm.
sniffers. They just like wake you up.
Yep.
It's got like menthol eucalyptus oil,
Wakes
and then
you,
there,
clears the sinuses. Yeah, I love those.
and then there's this particular um, cough drop thing that's from Thailand as well. That is like I was sick one time and I had randomly bought this at 7-Eleven in Thailand, and then I got home, um, you know, and I was like, that sick where it's like you're just phlegm all the time. It was one of those, and I
Hmm.
and I like had this in my bag and took this, and it like all the phlegm came out, and now I'm a full believer. This is the one. I think it's made of centipedes or something, but
Damn.
this is the one.
We gotta find that
So
and have that like
I,
maybe there's some company that ships it to the US. So that would be nice.
yeah, yeah. So there's just a bunch of like little remedies that come out in Asia,
Yeah.
and you kind of learn them all.
This
But
is yeah, this is
what
why
are we
I'm
doing?
particularly happy I had you on because I'm gonna have like typically segments almost. They're kind of in my head. But it's like one of them is like, what are things you have to get for the area? What are some must buy things? And I already knew that just by going through the stories, you'd be pulling out shit like this. And there's such good travel tips. Like, this is advice for anybody who ends up in these areas. Like, make sure you buy the thing, whether it's the little like Pepto Bismol type bottle or the whatever it is. You have to because your stomach bacteria is not adjusted to that area, and you are
Yeah,
guaranteed going to eat something that just makes you kind of sick or gives you like stomach poisoning one of your days. It's going to happen. So,
yeah. When you're in Thailand, they have those little yogurt things, the Yakult yogurt drinks. Drink one of
yep.
those. Also, they have them in Mexico. It's just a little probiotic thing. Just drink one of those every day, or take a good
Mhm.
probiotic pill. I have one from First Form. Shout out. Um, and also, I always take activated charcoal tablets. So if I ever ate something that was like a little sketchy, just pop two of those in my mouth, in my stomach. It pulls any like the crappy oils, like any kind of
Mm,
bacteria, can help pull that and clear you there. And
smart.
it's charcoal. There's no you can take 100 of them. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Um, just passes through you.
Very
So
smart.
yeah, maybe next topic, or do you want to continue on the story?
I was going to bring you back to where I said I was going to.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned that you got gringoed. This has already been a topic on the show. I had it with Tim. I had it with little Ben. I'm not sure if his episode is going to come out before or after yours because it's just sitting in my studio waiting to finish. But it's something that I'm going to bring up every single time because it happens to all of us. So, first of all, explain for anybody who missed the other episodes. Tell me again, Harrison, what does it mean to get gringoed?
Well, if you look it up in the dictionary, there's a picture of Joey B. Um, getting getting like scammed somehow in Mexico on the beach with his sunglasses that he bought, and like it's just it basically just means getting like tourist trapped, right?
Tourist
Um,
trap, yeah. And I used
whether
to be
it's
bad. Yeah.
like you get double charged for food, or the taxi screws you, or you buy some dumb thing that breaks the next day, or
Or you
um,
take the guided tour through the hotel for the free buffet, but it ends in a 2 hour timeshare meeting and it's in the middle of a beach day.
Joey B got me gringo. That was a funny day.
Yeah, that was
Um,
my fault.
so yesterday, my gringo stories. I went diving.
Mhm.
Really amazing diving here. Saw a lot of micros, which are these nudie branches, sea slugs. Saw like 4 different huge green turtles, like really big
Sweet.
ones. Was just hanging out with one for a while. Um, Big school of like these small fish. I don't know what they were. Uh, you look this one up. Orangutan crab. It's an orangutan crab. If you look at it, it looks like an orangutan, but it's a crab. Really cool. Those were the first ones that I saw. Like saw them for the first time. Every time I go scuba diving, almost there's something new for me, which is one of the amazing things about scuba diving.
Shit, this thing is
And I'm,
beautiful.
I have a rescue diver certificate. Yeah, that's
I don't
the
I
orangutan
don't have a
crab.
Jamie yet, so I'm not able to just pull up pictures at the same time. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do for the first few episodes, and that thing is fucking sweet.
Yeah, so orangutan crab, they hang out on bubble coral, so it's also cool. It's these big bubble things of coral in the water, and then if you look, sometimes there's an orangutan crab there.
Tight.
So yeah, we went down like 100, it was like 90 feet, saw some cool stuff. So like I said, I'm certified rescue diver. I'm thinking about actually now going for my dive master maybe next time. I think there might be a utility trip for us in the future, Joe.
I'm down. I need to get my next one, so for sure.
Rescue diver would be your next one, yeah.
Yeah.
So and just in between, I had my shirt off and my back is super red. Like didn't put my brute sunscreen on. So stupid of me. Usually I got it right here. I forgot it with me at the hotel actually. Forgot the brute. So I didn't have any sunscreen on, and my back is like pretty bad.
Oh my god.
But so got Gringo. But yeah, should I continue the story here on?
Is that the Gringo? The
No, just on like the Pattaya event, right?
Yeah, give me 1 second. We're doing this live, people, and my computer shows low battery already, so I need to plug in real quick.
All right,
And then I need to test to see if
I'll continue the story. You stop.
Yes.
All right. So was in Thailand. Played the event. We hung out for a few days as a whole team afterwards. Played. Just went back to Bangkok. We had a bunch of different adventures. We actually went to a Muay Thai fight, a local Muay Thai fight. It was really cool. We were the only gringos there. Went out a bunch of nights, drinking beer and stuff. So the Filipino American paintball team was really cool experience, and hopefully we're going to do it again next year. So from there, let's see. It was also Sunday when we won the event. It was my birthday, so that was a really cool extra piece to the story. So from there, basically, my wife Lilia, she was coming in like the next Saturday, I think. So we stayed most of the week, hung out in Bangkok in the city, and this local guy, Lynn. So he asked me to come out and train his team. So we trained his team for 2 different days. Also hung out with him a whole lot. He's become actually a good friend of mine now. I'm gonna go see him after this, after Borneo, I believe. And let's see. So then Lilia came, and we then flew from Bangkok the next day. We flew. Well, actually, we went on a yacht. We went on a yacht for the day. Can I hear you now? Nope. Can I hear you, Joe? It's okay. Hopefully, they can hear me. Can hear me. All right. So then we went back to Pattaya. Did a yacht day, which was really cool. I got a really cool car, drove it around Thailand. Yes, I can hear you now. Oh no, cannot. No. It's okay. It's probably better this way, Joe.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. So I have this shitty MacBook Pro that's good for work stuff, like emailing and Excel, but I hate all Mac and Apple stuff because I cannot plug my charge cord into this and my external cord for my $100 microphone. So it's one or the other. And this MacBook dies in about 2 hours flat if it's off a charger. So yeah,
Well, you got to
fuck
get
Apple.
that like extender. I agree.
And
I'm not Apple guy, but
yeah. But anyways,
so
sorry.
then we
Continue.
flew to Laos, which is was previously the second to last country on my list of Southeastern Asian countries to go visit.
Yes.
So and actually in my head it was the last because I forgot about Brunei. Sorry guys. So went there. And had like 10 days in Laos. We traveled around Luang Prabang, which is a very historical city. We had a 2-day excursion with at this elephant rescue, and it was like probably the highlight of the trip. Every morning the mahout is like the elephant caretaker, gets them from the forest, brings them across the Mekong River, and like walks them. And they're elephants, right? So they just walk across the river.
Yeah.
And then like in the middle of the river, they can swim also. Elephants can swim actually, and they put it's really funny. Look it up. They can put their trunk above the water and swim under the water. That's how they swim.
Sweet.
Yeah. So they wash them in the river and then continue the trip and bring them up to the kind of like the resort area. That it wasn't a resort; it was a we just had a room at the rescue, and just basically spent 2 days hanging out with the elephants. And like they're super happy creatures. They're super like you can look in their eyes and like you can just feel their emotions. They're really, really cool animals. And there's a lot of bad things that humanity's done to them. Like they're in their in their environment. I mean, they obviously are massive creatures, so they need a lot of land. So humans have been encroaching on that. They eat like 200 to 400 kilograms of food a day. It's like insane.
Jeez. Well, I'm guessing this place, this isn't like one of those places where they're in like a little fucking tiny fenced area and you ride them all day and they're being like basically
there's no
abused.
So elephant riding.
These people actually really love these elephants, and they're more. It's like a more nature reserve style of doing it.
Yeah. So just so you know, like elephant riding basically is a big no-no in like the pro elephant whatever. If a place offers elephant riding, you basically just don't go there because it means that they're exploiting them and they're using them for money rather than rescuing. And now the mahouts, their caretaker, they ride them, right? They're allowed to go on them, but they just go bareback, They just jump on them and control them. And all these elephants are rescued from the logging industry. So they were using the logging industry to collect logs and stuff. And it's kind of a fucked up industry and how they treat them and stuff. And they inject them with hormones and stuff so they chill out and they're easier to to move around and stuff.
That is fucked.
But it's really fascinating, and they actually understand left, right, up, down, sit, stay, like a dog does. And well, dogs actually don't really understand left and right. Most dogs don't. They're really well trained.
Yeah.
And it was just a really amazing experience. I have some pictures of it on my Instagram if you go and you look at it. It's really cool. So check that out, please.
That is sweet. And you got to room at this place? Like that was also where you stayed?
Yeah, it was the hack. Oh, we hacked it. It was totally a hack. Yeah, because you're supposed to, like, it was like I always rent a moto, right? Everywhere I go, I rent a moto. So we're motoing around, and it's like $6 a day to rent a moto, like a moto scooter, like 150, 125 or 115 cc moto. And there's all these waterfalls around Luang Prabang, and like these waterfalls are unbelievable. Like they're just, it's like these cascading like pools of water. They're like turquoise blue. One of them, we did this extra hike to the top, and we're the only people there, me and my wife. and there's these cascading pools of waterfall, super beautiful. There's like monkeys over there, and I'm like, and then there's a vine down into this pool, and I'm just hanging on this vine in this waterfall pool, like perfect. There's butterflies, the sun. It was like
Paradise.
could not think of a better way. I have a picture of it actually on my Instagram as well. You should look at that. Yeah, that was just amazing. And then
Sounds like
there's a
some
few other.
Fern Gully shit.
Yeah,
Just like a magical forest type situation.
it really was, and just the different the different nature over here is, I mean, everywhere, right? Nature is beautiful everywhere. It's just extra fascinating for me because I don't know it. It's not native to me, right? It's when I walk in the forest at home, I know most of the names of the trees, right? And I know most of the things and the plants, what you can eat, what you can't eat. Here, it's just like don't eat anything. I mean, I'm starting to learn a few more things, but
Yeah.
and there's certain mushrooms that I could actually identify over here too, because a lot of them are across the whole world, like reishi, for example. I found some reishi a few days ago. But anyway, so we stayed in Luang Prabang. There's these amazing waterfalls, just incredible. And also, in the city, we stayed where we stayed. It was like just a regular, local hotel. Very basic, and right outside was the morning market. And this morning market was like where all the locals go and buy their food for the day. All the restaurants go there and buy their food. So, you walk down and there's everything you could think of, right? There's chicken, like dead chicken, beef, fish, crickets, snakes, squirrels, rats, like bugs, weird bugs, frogs, like everything you could think of. One day there was a dead like a hunter got it. It's called a leopard cat. It's a cat. It's a wild cat, but it looks like a leopard. It's got leopard spots. It's kind of sad, but just, I mean, I told myself, hey, maybe this thing was eating the chickens or something, right? Like it's their local thing, right? Like if you have chickens and there's a raccoon eating it, you either trap the raccoon and relocate it or you shoot it.
Yep.
And they don't always have those means, so they shoot them. But it's just nature, right? And it's not my country, so I can't judge always. Yeah. So then we, Luang Prabang was amazing, and then we went to Vang Vieng.
Real quick, before you jump to this next place, did you eat any of that stuff?
No, like I am like less adventurous on the food stuff than I used to be.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten sick so many times. Like it used to be every time I'd come to Asia, I would like budget an extra 3 days of just being dead on in the bathroom, and it's just being smarter, and also like I'm a little more used to it. I'm like eating more and more. I'm finding myself eating more and more at like the Gringo spots than
the safe stuff.
Than
that is a Gringo move. Going to McDonald's in another country, that's a Gringo move.
Not McDonald's. No, just the nicer restaurants. But I mean, I still I say that, but last night I was at. Well, here there's like only local restaurants. I'm in the corner of the world right now. But so
nothing interesting recently. Not even like the fried bugs where it's like
I mean, so Waldo actually in Bangkok, he bought fried crickets and we ate those.
Yeah.
They have this cool thing. It's jumping salad. It's like a salad, and then they put live little tiny shrimps on top. So they're like jumping around, and you eat it. They're jumping.
That's wild.
Mango sticky rice, papaya salad, pad thai, nasi goreng, nasi ayam. Like there's so many, local foods that are amazing.
It's the best.
Just the weird, I've seen all the snakes and stuff like that to eat. I just high chance of getting sick, and it's not worth it for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got a pretty relatively sensitive stomach, I think. So
if you could tell me, even though it wasn't this trip, what is the craziest or most unique thing you've ever eaten?
Dog.
I was gonna say the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Cambodia one time, and this is another story. It was so we were actually I was with some travelers the other day, and we were telling like those moments that you'll never forget, or
Mhm.
those days traveling that you'll never forget. Because traveling is there's days that suck, and there's moments that suck, like you're trapped in a fucking bus or whatever, and it
Yeah.
just sucks, right? And then there's moments that are just like there's moments that are regular, like you go do a hike, it's really cool and whatever, and then there's moments that are just like you're never gonna forget this moment. And then and this is one of them. Basically, I was at Angkor Wat in Siem Reap, Cambodia, um, and I had a moto, and I was cruising around, and I kind of pulled off into the side spot, and there was these people fishing, and they were doing the fishing with the net, where you throw the net and it opens up and catches the fish. So it starts out small. They kind of spin the net and it opens up.
Hmm.
Um, and I was watching them for a little bit, and I was like, I had like my wallet on me, and I was like, okay, I think these guys are cool. You always got to have your street smarts on you,
Yeah. Be aware. Be aware.
So I like took my keys out, put them in my pocket, had my wallet, and I was like, hey guys, can you show me how to do that? And they're like, oh yeah, Gringo, cool. And then I was in the party, like I was a part of the family. They showed me how to do the net thing. I sucked at it. They're laughing at me, haha, because I can't do it. I finally caught a fish. It was this little stupid like tiny. They're just laughing at me like it was like it was so cool to just be
Hmm.
welcomed in and like
Immersed.
be part of it. Yeah, and it was so funny and that moment too. They were cooking the fish that they caught. They were cooking on the fire. They actually cut open a Pepsi can and put water in there and boiling the fish in the water on the Pepsi can. And they had like some chili salt. They were dipping it in. They gave me some, and then they're like, so we're hanging out, beautiful day, and they're like, you want to get this party started and like buy some rice wine for like $2, like. So you want me to sponsor the party for $2? Like, sounds
Yeah.
great.
I will get 10 of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, like let's get
Yeah.
10. So they like sponsorship, boom, let's get the party started. So now like they went and got
Nice.
it, you know, and now they're like now they really like me.
Hmm.
So we're drinking the rice wine, hanging out, and like sunset's about to happen. I really there was a part of Angkor Wat that I wanted to see before sunset, so I went there, had this like meditation moment. It was a really cool moment. I climbed. You're not supposed to climb the temples. I climbed on top of this temple, and like the sun is setting, and there's heat lightning, and I'm in the rainforest jungle, and there's these like katydids or something. These insects that at sunset they make this noise, and it sounds like a bomb raid siren, like the World War II. And it's all like I literally the first time I heard it, I like literally thought like, holy fuck, there's a bomb, like we're getting bombed, like there's a.
Yeah.
And I looked at the first time I was with these little kids swimming. I was swimming with these little kids. This is another day, and I like looked at them like, "Are we okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, what are you stupid?" Like,
It's just the bugs and all the
yeah,
trees.
yeah, this happens every day. Like, oh, okay. So, anyways, I'm on this temple and I'm like meditating and I'm doing like some yoga and the sun's going down and these crazy animals or crazy insects are making this noise and the heat lightning and yeah, and then I went back to the party and had some more rice wine and then
Nice.
I was so interested in this dog thing and I'm like, so what's the deal with this dog thing? I was asking one of my friends that I
Yeah.
met, one of the guys, and he's like, yeah, you want to go try it? I'm like, I don't think I'll ever get to try a dog if I
Yeah.
don't say yes right now. Like this
When in
could be the
Rome.
only moment, right? So I was like, yes, let's go. Boom. So we went. We did like a moto gang to like the restaurant, the dog restaurant.
Moto gang.
Yeah. Like rolled in and they're like, yo, this gringo. They're speaking their language. This gringo wants to try a dog. Like, okay, boom, sit him down.
Yep.
It was like beef stew, right? So it was like a red broth kind of thing. And yeah, there was just pieces of meat in there, and I think they gave me like the like the delicacy one, you know, because it
Yeah.
had an eyeball in there. And it had like a piece of the jaw, like with the tooth.
Oh,
And I
stuff
just
you can
like
picture.
I didn't like, you know, it wasn't one of those like finish it, like drink the bowl, like it wasn't one of those moments, but you know,
Mhm.
I ate a good portion of it.
Was it good?
It was interesting. Yeah, I mean it was a dark meat, so it kind of like a beefy
Hmm.
kind of deal. It didn't have any. I don't remember particularly like the flavor being one way or the other. And I think, you know, there's lots of different types of dogs out there, and they're
Hmm.
you know, young ones and old ones, and depending on what you get,
Yep.
it
Fatty,
might
non-fatty.
taste different. Yeah, I mean most of them are skinny street
Yeah,
dogs,
that's
but
true there.
but
Yeah, it's sad. It's a shame, but it's a reality. And I would never kill a dog to do it. But if it's already there, like being served, you see it being like, it's like, well, you know, it's just something you do out there. You try it, and it's not amazing, but it's also not bad. When you eat it, you're like, oh, it's not bad. It's kind of like any other animal you kill to eat.
one of the things that struck me is like energetically, it just took a long time to pass. Like I actually didn't, you know, go to the bathroom for like 2 days. Like it just took like a
Um,
long, like, you know, a long time to pass through me. And I have a pretty
mm,
quick metabolism and, you
yeah.
know, skinny. And it just, I remember particularly and I knew like when it passed, like, okay, that was the dog. Like
Yeah.
it was a very heavy, you know, like energy that had like escaped my body. It's
Wow.
interesting. Um,
Very. All right. Well,
yeah, so that was one time in Cambodia.
um,
But okay, any
well,
other question? We're not
yeah,
going in
yeah.
order here. We're not going in order,
No,
but I think it's going good. Yeah.
it's yeah, we're jumping around, we're tangenting because these tangents. I thought you were just going to answer craziest thing I ate was blank, but I like these tangents because that's where the best stories are. You know, like that story of meeting all those people. Those are the times I live for in other countries too, because they're so like raw and authentic. It's not like you can't buy that, you know what I mean? You can buy the person that takes you out for the charter boat ride, but you can't buy that moment of like saying hi to the fisherman and becoming like part of the community for the night. And then
Right.
that led you to the chance at trying something crazy. Like that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't get. And I think it makes our sport and lifestyle so unique because we've had so many of those weird things where you're like, yeah, you could go to that country, but you know, you're just not seeing it the same way as if you like really get brought in by paintball people and then you're like extroverted and positive and yeah, it just brings you into really cool situations. And it was funny that you mentioned you climbed the temple because the first time I ever went to Tulum, I did that shit too, and you were not supposed to, but it was kind of like when in Rome, you know, you have to like this is
Yeah.
Tulum, you're looking at, I want to see what's on top of it, right? And the last thing before we continue to the next part of your story is you've mentioned motos a few times. And I
Hmm.
know when you say moto, you mean mopeds. These are not like Harleys or stuff like that. It's scooters, mopeds, but we always all get them in other places, especially Asia, and we generally make scooter gangs. And I got to figure out a way to make like record this and make it a button on here for when people mention it. But my button is going to be, did you crash that moped? Or moto or something like that. And yeah, have you crashed any mopeds? This
No,
trip?
I've like I kind of grew up riding four wheelers and stuff. So I've been really, you know, kind of fortunate and lucky and whatever else on the motos. You know, knock on wood. I've always had a good experience. There was this trip actually. There was one like sketchy move that I had. I saved the moto, but I just like I was about to miss a turn, and my wife was on the back, so she
Oh
she
God.
she saw it. She's like, hey, left here. I was like, oh shit. So I slowed down. There was no one behind me. I looked, and I just, you know, I took the turn, but I took it a little wide, and there was a patch of mud, and you know, when I hit it, like we were, and she's on the back too. So there's another, you know, 125 pounds on them. She's like another 125 pounds. So I put my foot down and saved it, and it
Oh
was
my
fine.
God.
But like I had a, you know, like, you know, if my foot wasn't as strong or if whatever. The
Or
angle
if
was
you were
wrong.
barefoot or something,
I always do shoes. I never. So one tip, I pretty much don't wear flip flops anytime I'm doing anything besides just like if 7-Eleven's there, I'll wear flip flops, go there. But
Mhm.
anytime I'm on an adventure, I go shoes and like pretty good shoes. And my wife it's a joke because she always wants to be a girl in my flip flops or like nice
Yeah.
shoes. Right? I'm like, no, like real shoes. Like we're in the shit, like
And
we're going on
explain why that
adventures.
is. Yeah, explain why it is that important.
You're going to hike a mountain or like you never know what's gonna happen. Actually, like if you're going out for the day, you're on your moto, and you're gonna go to this waterfall. Like you're probably gonna do some hiking. There might be a dog you have to like that's gonna try to attack you. You got to kick it. Might have to save a moto. You're gonna be walking. There might be glass in the ground. There's just so many reasons that
Yep.
you want to be prepared, especially like, and if you get caught with like fucking up your foot or getting injured over here, it's totally ruins your trip, and it's sketchy healthcare maybe like whatever. There's a lot of
Yeah.
reasons to not get hurt.
Third world conditions, possibly hours away from the nearest any type of hospital. That whole thing, it's
Yeah,
real deal.
countless reasons. So yeah, the moto's been good. I mean, and I've probably spent a lot of days on a moto.
Mhm.
There's some future moto adventures that I want to do. I want to do a full Vietnam moto trip.
I'd like to do
Anyways,
that with you.
cool. Yeah. So
My
if you buy it in the north and then sell it in the south, you actually make a few $100. So
That sounds great. We could pay for the whole
yeah. So
trip.
you pay for those for doing it.
How long
Yeah.
would that be? Like how many
It's as long and short as
kilometers
you
or
want. I mean,
days
if you
or
want to,
no,
I think
top
it's
to bottom.
probably
I wouldn't do it half-assed.
no. I mean, if if I want to do it slowly, right, and
Mhm.
take my time. But I mean, if you went full, I actually don't know. I haven't done that much. Probably it's probably like 20 hours, 20. And
20
no,
hours?
it's more than that.
Okay.
No, it's probably like 40, 50 hours. But on a moto, everything's slower, right?
Yeah.
Unless there's traffic. That's your advantage on the moto when there's traffic. You're faster than cars, but otherwise you're
True.
slower than the cars.
I'm trying to calculate this because if I do my rough average of hours I've driven to crashes, and this is a 50-hour trip, I'll probably crash like 5 times throughout that trip.
Oh man,
Yeah, real deal.
I got a Buckley story that I'm not going to tell on air, but
You're getting overly burned Gringo story. That reminded me of Buckley in Mexico. That specific Gringo moment, I call that buckleying it. Like when you're out on vacation and you become a straight lobster and it ruins the next several days.
Buckley.
Yeah. But
All
anyways,
right, so I
back to the
guess
journey.
yeah. Beyond that, we went to Vang Vieng. The highlight there was doing the paragliding, or sorry, paramotoring. So it's like you have the parachute over you. You're in the little cart with the big fan behind it.
Oh
So
yes.
you're parachuting with a fan.
Mhm.
That was really really cool. Got to see all the really beautiful mountains there. Vang Vien's a really beautiful place. It's close to the capital, and there's a lot of like traffic, vacation traffic there. So it's a
Mhm.
little sketchy. I actually got some money stolen from me. Got Gringo.
That's Gringo. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
But that's
finish
but
the one story, and then we're gonna get to this Gringo. But yeah, you sent a picture in the group chat when you were doing the paragliding thing. It looked
yeah.
fucking sweet. And did you make that extra special in a certain way?
I mean, I just brought a beer up, and drank beer
Yeah,
on the top of the thing. A little roadie.
it's the
It
best
was
road
cool.
soda ever.
Yeah, it was.
Up above everything.
And it was like, so my wife is always like, "What do you want for your birthday, or what do you want for Christmas?" And I'm like, I don't know. I got everything I want. Like, there's nothing or I just go do it if I want. I want you to come with me. That's what I want, right? I want to
Yeah.
travel with you. But this was like her birthday present for me because I was like, I want to do this. She's like, okay, I'm buying it. This is your birthday present. So it was special in that way too. So that was cool as well.
That's sweet.
Yeah. And
Okay,
yeah, the
so
ABN's great. I mean, there the different moto spots you can go to. You cruise out and there's a hike. There's different these lagoons, these blue lagoons, really cool. There's caves. We did a bunch of caves. There's a whole bunch of caves there, around there, like a bunch of cave adventures. There's a really cool view of came into this cave, came around, and there was a hole in the top of the cave, shining down. Um, I think I posted a picture of it as well, onto this, and then next to it was this Buddha temple statue, and it was just really cool because if you've ever been in a cave, like there's no light, so there's really not much living there.
mhm.
Besides, close to the entrance, there's some bugs and some bats and stuff. But once you really get into there, there's really not much besides the cave monsters. Just kidding. But seeing the hole in the top of this cave and seeing the light come down, and there was like this little oasis, only on this one patch that received the light from the heavens, and it was just such a cool, like obvious thing, but like experiencing it and seeing it, like this oasis in the middle of this cave, was just very kind of special and beautiful. Nothing like it's obviously that's going to happen, but it was very magical just to experience
Yeah.
it. Um, and another cool one was there was it's a river cave. So we went to this one place, and you just sit on this inner tube, like literally a truck inner tube, and it's got like the metal, the like, so you sit on the inner tube, and you just there's a rope, and it went for probably like half a mile, and we're just like in the river in a cave, right? And we got lights on our heads,
Hmm.
and just going to the end of this river cave. It was super cool. You have to get out
That is
sometimes and,
sweet.
and like trudge through the water. It's pretty cold. There's some warmer spots, colder spots, because there's just a series of different rivers within this cave. It gets really low sometimes. You're like, and then it turns
Hmm.
into some big caverns. It's really beautiful. Um, that was a cool thing. Yeah, so then we went back and then came back to Bangkok.
Well,
We had
before leaving for Bangkok,
I don't want to
I got
talk
to slow you
about
down
any
here
money
because
still.
I got to catch up with you, bro. How did you allow yourself to get Gringo? How'd you get robbed?
It was so weird. So we stayed at this hotel. It was a newer hotel. It was a new hotel. We read the reviews on Google. The other good thing about traveling with a girl is or a wife is like you leave the hotel decisions to them. And my wife's like pretty frugal too, so it's like she always picks the best and cheapest. Ride that line, right? And that's something you
Yeah.
do when you travel, right? It's about your comfort level, and then how much money you want to spend. We don't really every once in a while we get a luxury hotel or something, but for the most part, we're getting, you know, riding the line of the best and cheapest that we can get. And sometimes you go over one way or under the other way, and you get screwed or whatever. But um, I'm doing fine, with money, but it's more just like about that's the proper way to travel, right? You do it frugally, you do it, you know, so that when a big thing comes up like paragliding that costs a few $100s, like you put it on that, instead of
Hmm.
staying at like a nicer hotel, right?
Yeah, just to
Um,
fucking sleep.
yeah,
Like you're not
and
even
I'm
there all day.
traveling. I'm traveling for 2 months, so like I'm not staying in $100 night hotels. So that's a lot of money.
No way.
I'm staying in like $20 night hotels, right? And that's
Yep.
that's easy to do. I'm at a hostel right now, actually, and it's like $8. Um,
$8 hostel. Fuck
yeah, and
yeah.
it's really nice. Um,
Hmm.
I get my like little pod, I climb in at night, and like no, just the only thing exposed is my feet, to anybody
Oh,
else.
the
So it's great.
closet hostel. Yeah,
Yeah, they're great,
they're sick.
and there's a blind, so no one's gonna disturb. Um, so we stayed at this one hotel, and our room was on the ground floor, and the there was like a forest like right there, like a forest right on this, like right outside the window, and I'd opened the window, and I was I had to go do some things that day. I was going to exchange some money and buy a train ticket because we were going to leave. um, and yeah, someone just climbed through the window and took my money. I had all this money from selling my gun, from some of the clinics that I made. And the weird part is, they only took half the money. They took they did it very cleanly. Half the bills. My computer is still there, my passports, everything's still there. They took half the bills, and literally, if there was, I had some euros in there, so there was 300 or 400 bills, 850 bills. They took half, exactly half of all of them.
Wow.
It was very weird, yeah. So
yeah,
we had this. So then when I figured it out, and luckily I had looked the next day, and I got the owner, hey, come here. Brought him in the room, listen, I had fucking twice as much as this. And he's like, I don't know, did you have the window open? I'm like, fuck. And so, he had his cameras. We looked through his cameras. We went to the police. And then it's as soon as I looked, I'm like, it's gone. There's no getting this back.
Nope.
I just, if there's some kind of redemption, that would be great. But it's just is what it is, And if I also look at it like someone that is gonna. It was $1,500. Someone that's gonna need that bad to steal it. They really need it, and they need it more than me.
Yeah.
And I hope it helps them. So
yeah,
it hurt me more emotionally than it did kind of. I'm gonna be fine, right?
you can live without
financially. But it was kind of an emotional hit. But that's all right. We continue the adventure, and
honestly, that was it was in a way, it was the most respectful way someone could rob you, because they didn't want to fuck you in the way that you're not going to be able to get home or you can't do your work on your laptop. They only took what they needed, and maybe they needed a lot. Maybe they saved their mom, or they just paid a year worth of rent in that country, or whatever it was. But they could have very easily just took it all, and instead they went, I'm going to leave this person enough, but I'm going to also take from them because they have more. So it's weird. I'm not saying it's right in any way. And in a lot of those countries, that's you could lose your fingers or hand for that, but
it could have been worse, for sure.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
Yeah. So, it's it's a learning lesson, right? Everything in life is a learning lesson. You learn and you grow and you get better. Everything. If you treat it like that, then that's the good way to live life. So yeah, then from there moved on. Let me see, actually. Okay. So actually, another highlight was we took this. We went back to Luang Prabang, and we wanted to get back to Thailand. So we took this local boat. It's a 2-day local boat that goes from Luang Prabang all the way up the Mekong River, on to the border.
Sick.
And then crossed, back into Thailand by foot. And it was just such a cool, it was just such a, you think 2 days on a boat, it was not luxurious and it was not
No.
easy, but it was just so rewarding to kind of be there and experience it, and see that we saw so many buffalo on
This
the
is not a
waters.
cruise boat either, by the way, is it?
A local
This is
boat,
not, this is
fucking. They were car seats. They were from old cars that they attached to the boat. So it was it wasn't. I wasn't sitting on a piece of wood. It was.
It's like a sampan or like a catamaran or something.
It was a long riverboat with the engine in the back and loud ass old diesel engine that's just and it's funny, they had an open fire behind that where they were cooking their lunch. An open fire in a boat.
Damn.
Really, really funny. I think I have pictures of that too on my Instagram.
I'd like to see that. That's not. I'm only can picture. It's like those scenes in Apocalypse Now where they're going up that river through Cambodia. That's kind of what I'm picturing. You're doing it's the heartland. You're in the jungle all around you, just in this river.
For sure. There was definitely large stretches where it was just there was no villages near there, and it was just full on jungle. There's not a whole lot of wild animals there and birds, because actually Laos is lot of people don't know this. It's the most bombed country in the world. The United States, particularly, bombed and used Agent Orange on it. Only like what's this, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
During the Vietnam War,
Terrible.
because a lot of the Viet Cong, were coming into Cambodia and Laos and coming through to go to the south,
Mhm.
and that was a lot of their trails.
Yep.
And
I've also
so the United States like bombed the hell out of it, and it
I've heard a lot
hasn't
of those.
recovered.
I've
And the
heard a lot
same
of
in
those areas
Cambodia.
are they're also kind of desolate from animals, and you won't really see people in them because there's still like countless tens of thousands of landmines from the
Yeah.
Vietnam War just hidden everywhere that you can't even find them all. So it's just kind of like, stay where you know.
Yeah,
That's fucking
there's a lot of
crazy.
places in northern northern Cambodia that are like that too, where like you just don't go that way because it's either um, Khmer Rouge is still actually active in some places, um, or there's landmines that are still unexploded, um,
Mhm.
and for sure, like I mean, there was we saw a good amount of animals in Laos, but not as many as there should have been for being like up the Mekong, like
Yeah.
in bumfuck, right? Like there was this place has still suffering from the chemicals that the United States government put on the land there and totally
Mhm.
fucked over the land for the sake of democracy, right, or whatever, right? I mean, the
For
Vietnam War,
opium is what it was for.
yeah, and then the opium trade as well. I mean, the Vietnam War was a very not supported war and everything.
Yeah.
Anyways, so you see, it's also very interesting traveling because you see firsthand the results of what money and greed does,
Mhm.
and also like I remember actually being in I was in Vietnam, and I was at one of the museums. It was actually the Cu Chi tunnels in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh City, near Ho Chi Minh City,
Mhm.
and it was these tunnels that these people. It was a city tunnel that these people lived in to hide from the Americans, and it was like literally they just lived in these tunnels, and they knew them perfectly because it was their tunnels, and they would like pop up every once in a while and like kill an American soldier, and
Mhm.
like that was and I remember watching this video about the tunnels when I was at this museum in these tunnels, um, and and it talked about this one girl who was like a hero, and she was heroic because she killed like 10 American soldiers, and like my first reaction was like that hurt my ego, or it hurt my side, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's my side. But then just looking at their perspective and looking at obviously I don't want anyone to kill anyone, right? Um, but it just was a very interesting, like,
It's a perspective change because you're there and you can almost relate in that moment because you're like, well, I wouldn't want people walking around like basically, you know, taking control of my city. What would you do? Would you just lay down? Like maybe a lot of people would nowadays. People
yeah,
are more docile, but that's a certain time, and I think that there's a lot of people that they have a lot tougher resolve, and they would not just give up their land or their way of life. So
yeah. I mean,
perspective.
we see it now, right, in the Ukraine and in the Gaza Strip and everything.
Mhm.
There's a lot, yeah. There's a lot to unpack there, but
Yeah.
on a lighter note, this trip was amazing. We met some other people doing it as well, and became good friends with them, um, and actually crossed into Thailand, stayed in Thailand, went to Chiang Rai for Christmas, um, and had a great Christmas there. Stayed at like an expat's house who had like built a he was American, that he married a Thai woman, and he created like
Mhm.
an Airbnb basically, and stayed with them. It was really really cool. Um, and then let's see. from there, flew back to Bangkok, and went to, for New Year's, we went to Neon. So Neon is this um, 3-day music festival in Bangkok, and it's like electronic music, which I've been introduced to that whole scene through my good friend Joe Barrett. I don't know if you know him. Uh,
I hear he's pretty
you know,
cool and he likes electronic.
yeah. So it was cool. We were actually just had tickets for one day, and then I met one of my friends that I like kind of knew. He wasn't a paintball friend. He was actually a work related friend, a crypto friend, um, and and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm born and raised in Bangkok, like whatever." I'm like, "Oh, do you know anyone like selling extra tickets because we want to go the next 2 days?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I actually have 2 extra tickets. I'll just give them to you." I'm
Oh
like,
my
"Really?"
God.
So we got 2 extra tickets.
Amazing.
Um, so we're like, okay, we have to go the next 2 days. So we went the next 2 days, went for New Year's. Took some local drugs as well. That same, um, had some trusted sources for some ecstasy, and had some good times, and it was really really cool. Um, and then went clubbing afterwards on New Year's, and ended up actually catching the sunrise. Actually, yeah, at the club. It's funny. Actually, at the club is exiting at 4 or 5 a.m. Met some other random American dude, and he's like, "Oh, come over! I got a cool spot. We can, I got a rooftop pool spot." Like, so we had a whole group of us go over to the rooftop pool. Ended up hanging out with him for a while, and I'm actually meeting him tonight. He's coming here. So then I went to Malaysia.
Sweet.
He's actually coming here and gonna hang out with me for the next few days, and I'm gonna show him how to scuba dive and stuff, because he's never scuba dove. So he's kind of like, "You're the only person I've ever done this for, Joe."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to just teach him the ropes. He's going to still go. He's not going with me. He's going with, the instructor. But I'm not a dive instructor. But I'm very experienced. I'm going to give him the 10 cent, tour.
Mm-hmm.
Show him how to do it and everything, and then he's going to go off on his own. I'll do my own dive, because it's like you don't dive with like, for me to dive with him for the first time is like going skiing with him for the first time. It's like not fun.
Yeah.
Like,
You'll be on the bunny
or
hill the whole
playing
time.
or like playing paintball with him like it's just not.
Yeah.
Playing paintball is a little different if you're playing like a big game or something.
Yeah.
But it's like, I want to go fast and he's got to go slow, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
On the bunny hill. So anyways, yeah, we did. So that was New Year's, and then from New Year's, let's see.
I feel like I remember seeing you at some kind of
What did we
like
do?
outstanding nightclub. I don't know if that was New Year's or a different time, but it
It
seemed like you were
was
at
a
some kind of
lot in
like,
Bangkok. I went to a lot of nightclubs in Bangkok, with
yeah, with
Lynn,
like,
and there's a lot of local friends that take me out there. Lynn being one of them, and some others.
but that's paintball related, right? Like that's because a lot of the people in paintball over in Asia are very wealthy. It's quite a difference over there. If you're playing paintball, it's a luxury sport. So like it seems like this sport brought you some pretty sweet networks over there that just hooked you up with like, times out, like a night out that normally guys like me and you are not gonna afford, or we're like blowing way, way more than we would ever want to.
Right. Yeah. It's actually like an interesting thing about paintball. There's two really cool points that I want to make. Is one, like, we're professional athletes, in our sport, and obviously it's a very small sport. So like, that allows us to kind of come to Cambodia or Thailand and like go stay at a hostel and like still have a great time without being, like if um, you know
Michael
uh,
Jordan went there,
Michael
he'd
Jordan
get
wanted to do that,
mobbed.
it wouldn't happen, right? So
Yes.
so and I honestly would not want to be, on that level of fame, or
Yeah.
Messi, or whatever, um, Ronaldo. Like, I mean, he's got amazing skill, a totally different sport, right? If um, so it's a very, unique thing in that regard. And then the also other thing about, paintball is expensive, right? Even in the U.S. So but when you come over to, some of these other countries, like the demographic who's playing paintball, has extra income
Mhm.
to spend, and so, and that ranges, right? But middle class, like, in the U.S. is much bigger than it is in a lot of other countries. So you get upper middle and top middle is a lot of your network when you're coming over to these countries. So that means nicer dinners and kind of people taking you out and stuff. And
Yeah.
it ends up for being a very unique experience, right? Where I don't go to the steakhouse very often, except when we win on Dynasty. Basically, is the only time
Yeah.
in the United States. But when I'm abroad, when I go to Mexico, it's every time, right? So it's cool in that regard. So from Bangkok, let's see, what did I do? I actually I flew to KL, Kuala Lumpur, which is the capital of Malaysia. I spent the night there because there was some friends that I haven't seen. The same, again, like COVID, I haven't been to Asia for a long time. So there's just people that I wanted to reconnect with. So Kevin Wong and Nick Wong, they're brothers.
They're awesome.
Yeah, and then Eddie Ioff from Actioneers. I used to play in Actioneers. That was my first ever Asian team, actually. And I've said this a lot, but shout out to Kevin Kevo Wong. He's the first person that ever brought me over here. He didn't know me. He kind of heard from another person that I was kind of good at paintball, and I wasn't pro, so there's no real. He had no kind of proof that I knew what I was talking about, or that I could play good or anything like that, right? Until you kind of prove yourself on the pro field, like it's hard, right? To believe somebody or to have trust in them, and he thought whatever he thought, and he trusted me and brought me over for the first time, and we actually won that first tournament in Dubai with the Actioneers.
Yeah.
So just I always thank him for that, and then his brother as well. Like first time ever meeting him. We went on some crazy moto adventures, like actually motorcycle adventures. First time ever riding a motorcycle. I did it in Pattaya.
Oh my God.
It was crazy. It was crazy. The whole time I'm just like, this is awesome, but I cannot wait for this to be over. It was like a 24-hour rental. I'm like, I had a 750 Yamaha, like just, yeah. Anyways, just too much power for me.
Yeah, you could easily
Especially,
die.
I didn't go up riding motorbikes, right? I grew up riding four-wheelers, and snowmobiles, which is similar, but two wheels instead of four.
Yeah.
So then I came to KL to visit with them for just a night, and then I came here to Borneo. So when I arrived in Borneo, which is still Malaysia, but if you look at the map, guys, when you see Malaysia, there's mainland Malaysia that's on the peninsula, and then there's half of Borneo. So Malaysia's comprised of two separate pieces of land. It's pretty unique. And I I arrived in what's it called, Kota Kinabalu, KK, Malaysia, and I'm actually still stunned. Every day I get a DM on my Instagram or a Facebook DM or something from a paintball guy that's a local guy that's like, oh my God, you're in Borneo. Let me take you out for dinner or something, right? Like, do you need any help? Like this and that. So it's really been cool. Like all the people that have reached out to me because I'm, backpacking in Borneo, like that are just, like happy that I'm here and I hope you have a great time. And so many people. So I had, met up with some people in KK and Kota Kinabalu. And then I took a flight. It was a $17 flight. I bought it. I was like, I'm doing this. I have to do it. It was $17 from Kota Kinabalu to some other city that I can't pronounce. And then I took a 2-hour bus. I actually didn't sleep that night. I didn't sleep. I took the flight at 6 a.m. Got to see Mount Kinabalu, which is the tallest mountain in Asia, I think, or Southeastern Asia. Got to see it from the airplane, really cool. Landed, went to the orangutan sanctuary. Got to see the orangutans, hang out with them. They were doing their feedings. Also there's a sun bear sanctuary right next there. So sun bear is a type of bear. Yeah,
Sick.
there's sun bear and moon bears, and they're the smallest bears.
Mhm.
But so went to those sanctuaries, got to kind of experience that, and then got picked up by the bus and went to this river. Um, I can't pronounce it. Ketabatabang or something. Um,
Tough names.
Kintabatabang. It's like multiple syllables. I'm not even giving it enough syllables right now.
Mhm.
And from there, I had like a 2-day rainforest, experience where every morning, multiple times a day, we'd go into the rainforest or we'd take the boat up the river. And, I saw so many different monkeys, saw 4 different types of monkeys. Orangutan in the wild, proboscis monkey, which is the one with the long nose. I just posted a video of it on my IG. Macaque monkeys, which there's actually 2 types. There's long tail and short tail macaques, and they can interbreed. And then this other, it's a silver low, something lo luan or something, um, which can interbreed with the proboscis monkey. So saw like all these monkeys, saw a bunch of crocodiles, saltwater crocs that had come up from the river, from the ocean.
Big
Um,
ones.
yeah, a bunch of egrets, kingfisher, which is this beautiful bird. And really, really cool moment. I was walking, so we went trekking with the guide, and I had met this family. Amazing. They've got 4 kids. This mother and father. They've got 4 kids, and they're bringing them around Asia. And like these kids are hilarious, and they're like, it was like 1.5, 6, 8, and 12 or something. So we were playing games with them, and I was hanging out with them a lot. They're really cute. So but we went for a trekking thing, and kids, they can't keep quiet, or they're like constantly doing stuff. So it wasn't like a real trekking adventure
Yeah.
for me, but it was still cool because I was hanging out with them. But
Mhm.
so we got back, and I'm like, I'm gonna go by myself, right? And I know they're not gonna allow me to do it, so I'm gonna just do it and not tell anyone. So I went out by myself, and I went through, and like there's some stuff in the rainforest, right? So there's
Mhm.
snakes and centipedes and spiders and um, fucking
Tigers,
cats
maybe.
and yeah, shit like that,
Yeah. Some shit.
and crocodiles. So I was very aware, right? When you do something like this, I had a thing, and it was really muddy too. So I was also aware of like any kind of mud traps. Um, and I came out in this sunny spot with like a little canal river thing, and I'm just standing there for a little bit, and because I'm in the sun, the mosquitoes were going away, which was cool. So I was enjoying that because they were just fucking on me the whole time
Mm.
because it's the rainforest. So I was staying there for a bit. It was in the sun, and there was no mosquitoes. And I just saw these I was there for like a half hour, and I just saw these bubbles come around. I'm like, what the heck is that? There was all these lines of bubbles. What the heck is that? And then all at the same time, like 6 or 7 otters pop their head up out of the water and are like
Sick.
playing around for a minute. And I'm like, I just froze. And it was one of those moments like, do I try and get a picture of it, or do I just enjoy it? Because I
Just
know
see
it's
it.
not going to last. I'm like, I'm just going to enjoy this. So I just
Yep.
froze. It lasted like 5-10 seconds, and they all saw me, and they were like, and just peaced out. But one of them didn't like hear the call because he went underwater or something.
Mhm.
So then he came back up and was like, where'd everybody go? And then saw me, and then like, oh fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it was cool.
That is sweet, dude. That's a hell of a story. Man, those are like the exact ones I'm really looking for. Like, holy shit, super memorable moments. And
Yeah, that's a moment that's like not I'm not gonna forget, right?
mhm.
So then I took a bus 2 hours. Actually, no, sorry, it was like 4 or 5 hours from that place to where I'm at now. So, some loud people.
That's okay.
So now I was cool. I was the only Gringo on the bus. It was really cool. The only guy. Very very local bus.
Do they
And
speak English there, or is it a little too
they,
desolate?
you find like 1 or 2 guys that can say a few words, and you kind of just
Kinda.
figure it out. Like Semporna is the name, so you just keep repeating the name. Semporna. Yeah, okay,
Mhm.
okay. How many hour? Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
2 minutes. Like, I don't think it's 2 minutes. I think you're saying the wrong word. It's probably 2 hours. Yeah. Anyway, so then ended up here, and here I am now. I went diving a few times, and I'll probably dive
Sweet.
tomorrow as well. And
Well, that's
from
cool.
here, like I said, going to Brunei. And I think I'm gonna try to explore. Like, Brunei is small, so I think I can explore the whole country in like a day. Or
That's small.
not thoroughly. Well, it's not thoroughly, but I'm gonna try to. I think I want to take a bus from Brunei back out to Malaysia, and then cross by foot, because it's crossing borders by foot is like one of the coolest experiences you'll ever have, and I remember every single time I've done it, and it's always a really just like it's so much different than flying in. It's just way more memorable and way more. You just see it, and it's just really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try and do that again, and then I think I'll fly back to either Phuket or Bangkok. I'm gonna do another clinic, um, and then come back for practice in San Diego.
How much
I'm
longer
not
do you
gonna
have?
I'm not gonna have any of my gear with me. I don't have any gear with me, so I've told already Dynasty, like, guys, just so you know, I'm gonna show up for practice, but I'm gonna need to borrow some gear. And they're like,
Yeah.
all right, we got you.
Yeah.
So
My
I'll be rocking, rocking
quick
out Alex Frye
questions.
pants,
I was gonna ask you.
that are too small for me, and
Yeah.
you know.
What are you actually traveling with right now? Give the breakdown of, not, you don't have to name every item, but how do you travel like this?
So this is the way to travel, and I will take with me to the grave. I have a big bag, right, with all my clothes. It's only basically clothes and nothing really important. That happens. Like, if anything happens to it, it's clothes, and nothing. There's my flip flops are in there, kind of thing, right? And that actually is
He's saying backpack, not by big bag. This is not a roller bag or a duffel.
yeah.
It's a big backpack.
Yeah, so it's either a hiking bag, like a EMS or High Sierra backpack. I actually like hiking bag. I actually use the Pro DNA field bag, the waterproof one. It's not waterproof, but it's only not waterproof right where the zippers meet. That's the only place it's not waterproof. So if you submerge it, it will get wet in there. But yesterday I was in the rain walking through, like, all good, boop, boop, boop. And that bag I've now had for 2 years, and particularly is like my favorite bag. It opens up really big. You can fit a lot of stuff in it.
It's the best.
In fact, coming here, I carried on all my gear. So I brought all my gear minus my gun. I shipped my gun to Frye. He brought it for me. All my gear and all my clothes, and I fucking stuffed it in there, and it was literally could not fit another sock in there. It was totally full. And that bag is awesome. So
yeah.
And it's like, it's a great investment if you're thinking of a bag. It's comparable to the like some of the other really expensive like hiking bags, but it's like half the price, and you're supporting paintball as well. And I was there on Infamous when we made them.
Yeah.
And so I got one of the first ones, and it's just meaningful. That bag is awesome. I don't know if you can link it or something, but it's the field bag, right? There's the field. What's it called? The Infamous.
I forget the name of it,
Pro
but
DNA.
it is sweet. We get it. Shout out Infamous. Shout out Pro DNA. What else?
And then I have just a regular backpack. I actually use Osprey, like a small backpack that I put on the front.
Yep.
And that has my computer, my passport, everything important, right? So if I go
Wallet, phone, charger.
if I go to a hostel or whatever, or any place, right, my big bag comes off, and it can stay behind the desk, right, or stay. Hey, can I leave this bag here, kind of thing, right? Or I can check it in somewhere, whatever. And then the main bag with the valuables, that's always with me, right? So
that's a good tip.
that is like I'll take this to the grave. That's the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're like, again, if someone steals my bag with my clothes in it, it's kind of even a cool adventure, right? Like, oh, now I got to go buy some clothes. And like, it's
Look
not a big
local,
deal,
yeah.
right? Yeah, it's not like I wouldn't want to lose this shirt, but if it happens,
Whatever.
it happens, right?
Yeah.
Passport, that's a different story, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
100%.
a way different story. So that's how I always roll. And I've actually recently been, I've got a fanny pack now that's got that I've got my passport in and stuff. So I actually have this on too, like during the day when I'm walking around. If I trust where I'm at,
Yeah.
I'll leave my backpack, like my laptop here and stuff. And I'll just kind of have this fanny pack. I had a Hormesis one, but at the event at TXBL, people bought everything from me. Like literally, I sold
Everything you're wearing, yeah.
Except I'm keeping at least. I have three Hormesis shirts. I'm keeping these.
Yeah.
Everything else I'm selling. So I had a Hormesis thing, but I had to get this random one.
Yep, gotta have a fanny pack. Well, that's good. Now people can kind of understand how you should travel, because you don't want to be rolling a bag or carrying heavy shit, and you should be minimum. And I was going to ask this as like one of my couple questions in the end anyways, but is there anything aside from the 2 bags that you always travel with? Like either a few things that you probably have them with you now. I don't mean like laptop and like, oh, I need to travel this because work, but these are like pro travel tips, like a poncho or something like that you can put on over your bags while you walk, shoes and sandals, so you have one of each. I mean, what?
Yeah. So all right, here's the pack. So in my main bag, I have always 10 underwear, 10 socks, 10 pairs of underwear, 10 pairs of socks. One of those socks is a long pair of socks, and all the underwear are like athletic underwear. Depending where I'm going, it's like 3 to 4 pairs of shorts, and then 10 shirts. Always 10 shirts. And that's what's packed. So then I really have 11 because I'm when I'm flying somewhere, I have the 11th underwear, socks, whatever. And then, again, depending where I'm going, it's usually just one pair of pants, like one pair of good pants, like jeans that you can go to a restaurant in.
Somewhere
or something.
nice.
Or not jeans, but like I actually don't wear jeans.
Joggers, khakis, whatever.
Yeah. And then sometimes I have then sweatpants. I don't right now because I'm in Asia.
But a hoodie, always a hoodie, because airplanes are fucking cold. So you have to have a hoodie.
So I actually cracked the code right now. I have this. It's awesome. It's not a hoodie. It's a hoodie shape, right? But it's actually made of like thick athletic shirt, like your athletic shirt.
Moisture wicking or whatever.
It's if you're in the winter, it's not going to be sweet, but it helps with, it's thick enough that, if it's kind of cold, it's good enough. And it's a Dynasty one. BFP gear makes it.
Sweet. So it's probably SPF and protects you in sun.
Yeah, and it's the best. It's the best for the paintball field because it's actually like breathable. It's like wearing a shirt, but it's a hoodie, and an athletic shirt. Tight. So, and we got 2 of them this year. We got like a blue one and a black one, and I really like the black one, so I always have that with me. And it's like soft, so I used it last night, like when I was sleeping under my head, like really nice. Yeah. So 10, 10, 10. Computer, phone, chargers, toothpaste. One thing I do is I ran out, but I always take the big tube of toothpaste and I just inject it. I butt them together, take my big tube, my small tube, and I butt them together and I squeeze it and then fill my small tube up.
Travel size.
So I don't have to have I actually just bought toothpaste today because I ran out, but and I always get non-fluoridated toothpaste. That's important.
Do you travel with a lighter?
I actually do have a lighter. I
always do too.
And I don't usually. I got my Brute sunscreen. This stuff is great.
Yeah.
I have a pen, marker. I got some Palo Santos. So the only reason I have the lighter is because I have some Palo Santos.
Yeah.
And it's a small piece of it.
I quick tip of mine, and I don't know if you do this, but I always keep a lighter anyways. I'm not a smoker at all, but sometimes having a lighter can help you make a friend or get a favor done if you need it, because you run into that person who's like, they need a lighter, like they're about to light a cigarette, they don't have one. Boom, it's the friendly conversation starter to begin with, because you're alone in that area. So I generally always have a lighter in my athletic bag or the fanny pack or whatever. And also it's a good emergency tool. Like sometimes you need that if you're out and about in like the wilderness or the camping type thing. You might need it to like burn through something or to keep warm or whatever it is. Just kind of good to have a lighter on you.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And don't make it like a particularly, one that you love, because it could get taken away at any random airport. One thing I do always travel with is this jade Buddha.
That's a
I
good
bought
always
this.
traveler.
I bought this in Ho Chi Minh City, and I've just had it for like 10 years, and I just
Long
always have
time.
it with me. So whatever.
Yeah, bag buddy.
And that's not like efficient, but I do it because I can. Yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, I got my vitamins. One thing I did this time is I brought like all these first form microfactors, because they have like a lot of vitamins, and they also have greens and reds in there. Because when you're in these all these countries, like if you're eating a lot of local food, it's hard to get kind of all the nutrients, and especially like you don't really want to be eating like salads, uncooked salads a lot, especially if you're out here, because it's just got different bacteria on that you're not used to. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just different, right? And that you might not be used to. So I always have like either like a green tablet, like either green powder or green tablet. You can buy those green tablets. But this time I have the micro factor from First Form. So this stuff is awesome. It also
Very
has
smart. Yeah, keeping your nutrition up while you're there.
Yeah, it also has
First Form.
It also has probiotics, EFA, which is the oils, CoQ10, and then multivitamin. So this whole pack, I take one of these every day, which it's not like not the smallest thing to carry around, but it's it's health related. I do it.
Yeah, keeps you feeling good. You want to feel good if you're going to be up all day adventuring.
I got another cool one that I've been. This is microdosing of shrooms, yeah.
Like
and
this type of microdosing?
Yeah. So I've been taking this every day too, and I feel just more happy. It's weird because I'm super happy anyways. But
mood boost.
So these guys, Nimbus, make a really nice pill.
What is it? Amanita or something?
No, it's psilocybin.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
That is a company that makes actual psilocybin microdose pills.
Yeah, they're awesome.
You're gonna have to send me that link after. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's got other like lion's mane and stuff in there too.
Yeah. Chaga, the normal ones for mood boost, but this is like
lion's
a full.
mane,
so if you eat
ginger.
A bunch of those, it would be more than a microdose. Like you could potentially
today.
You could probably try.
Probably, yeah. If you took like
10 of them, so yeah. It's probably
they do make chocolates as well that are really good.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you about this later. That's super cool, and also, this is something I knew I'd be doing on my show, and hopefully we're breaking down the walls of taboo out there. If y'all don't know, a lot of successful people and athletes and everything microdose and take things like psilocybin because this shit is helpful. Like the government doesn't make this illegal because it's bad. It makes it illegal because it would help people do a lot better and not be sheep stuck in, the assembly line that is reality. It saved my life. I know it's done a lot of wonders for your life. It's countless people around me, and people at Google use it in think tanks. So yeah, give it a try. Let go of your bullshit. If you're taking prescription drugs, that's worse than any type of psychedelic. So that's all we have to really say about that. But something else I was going to ask. You always are very prepared in what you bring with you. I guess go ahead and finish if you have something to say.
Well, just anyone can hit me up for this link. This
Oh,
guy's,
sweet.
I know him personally. He's a good guy, and he makes good products, and he's a small company, so
Yeah.
we're helping him out, and he's hooked me up. So I always try and tell people like, yeah, I do this one. It's a good one.
That's cool.
And his chocolates are great too.
Yeah. I know one of those guys as well, like makes the most professional, perfectly dosed microdose chocolate bars. They look like Hershey bars in the individual squares. And yeah, if anyone needs to try this, if you're anxious or depressed and you want to like try to help yourself, I'll talk with you. I'll help you through it. You know what I mean? But get at me.
Yeah, one of my really good friends actually. He's he had cancer as a kid, and he's now got one leg and one lung. They had to chop him off, and so you can imagine like the type of anxiety he has, and he went through chemo, and he's told me before like about the only time like he doesn't feel anxious, like because his body's always on high alert. Like he literally imagine having one leg, like picture that, and then one lung only. Right, and then going through chemo, right, as a kid. So he's told me like the only time he ever feels, not high alert, high anxiety is when he is microdosing or taking or macrodosing. So I specifically gave him a whole bunch to, to help him out, and he is very thankful of that as well.
Sure feels better. Well, that's very cool of you. I know too many people who have been prescribed by their bullshit doctors some Xanax or benzodiazepines, and I know people who have died from those things. So because of anxiety, that's what you're given by the people that are supposed to know. But anyways, I could talk about that one for hours. Yeah, thanks for doing something really cool for someone, and we're down to do it for more people, of course. But the next thing I was going to ask you was, beyond the stuff that you always bring, are you a guy where is there something that you always get in every country or spot? Not like a keychain, not with them, but like, is there a thing that you're like, fuck, I got to get that?
Well, I talked about those, like this nose breather, in Thailand specifically, and then that cough medicine in Thailand. I always get that, and then always in Malaysia, I get that stomach pill.
Anything else as far as like
it's mostly like it's mostly like I'm really interested in like ancient medicines and herbs and things like that that can like this stuff, right, like an ancient mushroom, right, that's been around. In fact, the stoned ape theory, if you know about it, like there's a theory that one of the reasons humans' brains developed is because they started eating mushrooms and started to like see the world in a different way and started to like develop paintings and anyways and language. But anyways, so kind of these ancient medicines and things that I'm more interested in that. Like I was talking today to a Chinese herbalist right downtown about bird's nest, which is this thing that a lot of people take in China, and it's literally sparrow bird nest that they make from their saliva, and it it opens up circulation. So a lot of women take it for like it makes the skin smoother and stuff. This is what he told me. I can't say personally that I know, but this is what they say. And he said he told me that he's a runner. I was talking to him today, and that he took it and he noticed a slight difference in his ability to run because it opens up your circulation, right? So he can go further. So I was asking about that. So things like that. I mean, I'm more interested in like the local, craters. Another cool one that grows here, the crater plant. So yeah, I'm more interested in kind of the local stuff. In terms of that, I never buy like a fridge magnet everywhere I go or like I'm starting more to this time. I bought a bunch of presents. There's actually a present for you that I bought, and I sent it all home. Yeah.
Yes. Cool.
Yeah.
I
bought a whole box of stuff and I stuffed it full and I sent it home for my mom and my dad, and my aunt and stuff like that. We were just at the market and I was like, it's Christmas.
It's cheap but something I took from you back in the day, I don't know if you do it anymore, but like I always saw you would buy like the super cool but dirt cheap swag from the areas, and a lot because it was these different textiles that are meant to breathe in those regions. Like if it's a really hot, humid, muggy area, you don't wear cotton. So I would see you with these really nice, like light, flowy shirts. And then I started doing it. Every time I'm in a country, I get a new shirt or a button down or
I know you do. That's your
yeah. I just
That's what I got you.
Sweet. Thank you.
No,
But
I have so many clothes. Like
yeah,
I don't buy clothes anymore. I like this.
and
I
paintballs
got
are
this
free.
cup. This is the
Yeah,
last shirt I got, and I got the cup. You know, like
I know.
uh,
I get it.
and yeah, and for paintball, right? Like
Everything's
you know,
free.
we all get unlimited clothes basically, right? Especially the pro.
Too
We get
much.
Hermes' clothes, which are really cool clothes. You know, like
Hmm.
I've got a whole bunch of Pro DNA clothes too, and like
That's
I
all my
just
wardrobe is those two brands. My entire closet.
all right. So like I don't, you know, I don't really buy clothes if I need something, but no, I don't buy anything. Um, it's more about the experience. I mean,
Yeah,
and I don't want to carry anything either. I'm very,
true.
very. It's not even about carrying. It's just about like the packing and the unpack and like having this like another thing on me. Like I'm traveling for 2 months. I don't
Yep.
want stuff. You know,
Yep.
I bought stuff and I sent it home in the mail.
I
It was
agree.
expensive, but I did.
Well answered. Is there anything that you always do in each trip, like each new country? When I'm here, I got to do the, like for me, I'm always going to look for the very best beer from the local brewery. I do like to try whatever the local delicacy is. And now that you've gotten me into it, the last several times I've went anywhere, I'm going to scuba dive that spot, So do you have that thing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, every kind of country has its own local beer, right? So that's always cool, and it's usually basically like a Corona or a Bud Light. Like the local
Mhm.
beer is usually like not particularly great. You know, it's
It's
like
okay.
the local Bud Light and the local Corona.
Yeah.
It's not like a amazing IPA or something.
Hmm.
But you know, I mean, yeah, the same thing. You know, local cuisine. I really do enjoy local cuisine anywhere I go. I'm a big eater. Um,
Yep.
and yeah, scuba diving if it's a particularly good spot to view nature in whatever capacity, whether that's under the water or over the water. I'm a big nature guy, so
Yeah.
I always, you know, I'm not like Bangkok is great. I had a great time there. I was like ready to get out of there because I want to go
Mhm.
see nature. That's why I'm in Borneo, right? Borneo is actually really known for its biodiversity and being a massively you know, great place for nature to view nature. The
Yeah.
proboscis monkey is the only It's the only. This is the only place on Earth you can see this monkey, right? So
That's
I
sweet.
mean, I was really close to it. Just having those experiences, those otters, like you know, that to me is just experiencing the nature. Yesterday too, I was floating with this big ass green turtle, like just sitting there. He was like hanging out, and I was hanging out. We were just looking at each other. I was 100 feet under the water, just
Yeah.
like looking at this thing, like, man, that's cool. That those moments are much. They're the moments, and those they're. Yeah, I don't buy things. I buy experiences, right?
Yeah. I was gonna
And
say, I know.
that goes for me at home too. Like when I'm at
Yeah.
home, I don't have. I have like a very basic car.
And not much stuff
Um,
other than paintball stuff. Not much.
yeah, if you took away my paintball stuff, I
Could
mean,
fit in your car.
I got some rock climbing gear, some camping gear, and like a frisbee and like
Yeah.
whatever else. I got some tools. I mean, I do like to work and do fix car. I particularly work on cars a lot.
Well, I know
I'm
you.
very
You're not
mechanically inclined.
materialistic, and
Yeah.
and I know you can party. Like we've partied, music festivals and all that, but cities aren't really what calls you. It's
Mm.
nature, and it was cool to like kind of live vicariously through your stories in this trip because I could see you were more on that like, okay, I'm gonna go places where I mean you have to do your computer work, but the bulk of your time, 2-day river tours, there's no internet, there's no signal, and you're just fully disconnecting from that other part of your life, which is so entangled in society. It's Bitcoin, it's being in the computer, it's being on a paintball field and having to like, talk to a lot of other players and fans. And do you find that this is like kind of your, your healing, or like mandatory for you, like that disconnect? Like, what is this?
Yeah, absolutely. Like every year I do this trip, right? I do this December to usually February, early December to end of January, like 2-month trip. Whether it's South America, Asia, whatever else. And I've for the past lot of years I've skipped Christmas, and again, my nephew is getting older now. Until he can start remembering, I'm gonna keep skipping it.
Yeah.
But
you could
I'll
see him
probably
any
go
other day. It's just a Hallmark holiday, you could see him another day and
Yeah.
make that his Christmas.
But what's actually great about Christmas is like between Christmas, the week before, and the week after New Year's is like nobody fucking works anyways. So that's really when I can do like because I run a company, right? I'm a founder of a company as well, and a pretty good one in Web3 in my world, in blockchain and crypto. We have a pretty big network and branding and everything. So it's to be gone for 10 days is like, it's pretty tough, right? So this is like, during this time, like I've done, some of my longer, like, disconnecting things. We'll do a segment on all those ones, the Christmas adventures maybe. But
sure.
yeah, my next one that I want to do, and that I'm a little disappointed I didn't get to do it this trip. So it's called Vipassana. It's a 10-day silent meditation, and there's actually there's centers all around the world, and it's free. It's donation based, and it's 10 days. You go to these centers and you do this meditation, and you have a coach, and you can only talk to that instructor. And everyone I've talked to, every single person I've talked to has said it's like the best thing they've ever done, and also the hardest thing they've ever done. So this is like one of my next, like things that I want to do in my life. I've done a lot of things. I think getting into this is very cool. So it's not going to happen this trip, but and anyone, it's open to anyone. So if anyone's interested in it, it's Dhamma.org, DAMMA.org. You can find places all around the world, and go and on these retreats, and come out of it hopefully a better person. I can't speak from experience, but I'm translating from everyone that's told me about them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, very cool. Well, dude, I'm super happy
up.
for you that you got to, do all of this. I know it's healing. It's nice. It's mental health shit to do what you're doing. And, I had one more good question for you. I know you're in a midday, and I don't want to keep you on a computer when you're.
Yeah, we're
and
2
also,
hours.
It's 2:30 here. So past midnight, and I still have work tomorrow morning, so I gotta go too. But I've been waiting to tell you this story because we haven't like phone called, and I knew it'd be fun. So, dude, I gotta tell you, I got gringoed recently, fucking bad. And I've told people, but I was like, only Harrison's gonna appreciate this as much. And it's been years since it's happened to me. So let me tell you how I got fucking gringoed. So, we went to MXL Puerto Vallarta, and we won the tournament. It was fucking sweet. I helped TJ Bastards win the series title.
Nice.
I don't need to talk all about that, but go up to Sayulita to enjoy my 2 days after, and I'm on a high. Like, you got that winner's vibe. I know it. Things happen for you. Stuff works out real smooth and easy. People can sense that you're a winner, right? So I walk into Sayulita off the chicken bus, like like the motherfucking man, kind of cocky, smiling, I'm gonna spend the money I made winning and selling jerseys, stuff like that, doing what I want, and maybe not stay in the $8 hostel. I'm coming down the street, and these guys stop me. They're like, hey, free game up here, right? Like, there's always people handing out the postcards, but the one is like
Yeah, in
free
that downtown.
for the game in that downtown, right? And I grab it. I'm like, what's this? And he's like, 2 free plays of this game up ahead. And I'm like, what's the catch though? And he's like, it's just 2 free plays. If you don't want to play, you can walk away. I'm like, all right, show me the game. We walk over to this game, and this is for everyone to be aware of. Be aware of this fucking game, dude. And if you've never seen this, I've never seen this in 7 years going to Mexico. I've never seen this fucking one. But I go up to this game, and I'm like, all right, guys, what's the game? And there's a bunch of people behind the different game boards. There's like 4 of them under 2 tents. Other random people are playing, like middle-aged, older people. I'm the only guy my age playing it. It's this game where it's like a square board with 100 half holes in it. Each hole is labeled 1 through 6, and you have 8 dice. But instead of dice, they're marbles, right? So you shake them and you roll them, and the 8 balls or marbles will sink halfway and drop into 8 different holes. And you count the numbers, like, 1, 3, 4, 4, 4, 6, 3, whatever, and you add it up, and you don't get that number. Each number is equivalent to a different number that are written in this rectangular border around the board, right? And there's these bunch of really good, charismatic, fast talking Mexican dudes running the game, like super smooth, acting like they're your friend, right? So I roll the first time, right? I have 2 free rolls, and the game is all you have to do is add up to over 100. So I roll the first one, and my number calculates, and that number is to like 50. All right, I got 50 of 100. Roll the next one, and it gives me 2 free rolls. So I roll one more, and it gives me nothing, and then another one, and it gives me another 15. So I'm at 65 out of 100. I'm like, all right, well, I haven't done anything. And he's like, hey, remember, all you have to do is get over 100, and you win all these prizes. There's TVs, whatever. And if you don't want TVs and whatever, the lowest prize was like $500. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
dude.
how much is it to
Come
continue?
on.
And he's like, the next bet's $5. Dude, how many pesos is $5? So I'm like, all right, sure. I just won a bunch of money. I just made a bunch of money this event. I'm like, fuck it, dude. I'm feeling good. I'm like, how?
100 pesos.
I'm like, tell me, buddy, what's the catch here? All I got to do is make it over 100 in numbers. If I just keep rolling and rolling and rolling, eventually I'm going to get over that. I'm already at 65. And he's like, that's it. Most people just give up before they make it there. I'm like, there's no way to lose this. And he's like, the only way to lose is if you walk away. I'm like, fuck it. So $5.
Sounds like Vegas.
Yeah, $5, dude. I thinking back, I was so fucking mad how stupid I was. This $5. I roll. I get another of the. It's this certain number that kept hitting over and over, and it's like it gives you double. Only this one gives you 2 free rolls, and if you win, the prize doubles, right? But if you lose, the next bet doubles. So I roll it, I lose. I'm like, oh fuck. The prize would have been $1,000 there, but now he's like, so I'm like, now the bet's $10, and he's like, yeah, it's just $10 for the next bet, 200 pesos. I'm like, done. At this point, I'm only at $15. I roll it, and for the next however many turns, I keep getting either double roll, and then the double rolls would either give me nothing, or they'd give me free roll, like a single free roll, or I would get this double bonus roll that would double the fucking prize, but also double the bet. So $10 goes to 20, 20 goes to 40, 40 goes to 80, 80 goes to 160. I'm at like 90 fucking points. I'm 10 points away, and the purse at this point is like 80,000 pesos. It's like it is no joke. The bet, I'm like, if I can just hit a fucking 10-pointer, I'm gonna make like $2,000 or something. Like at this point, I'm in the thousands, 2 or 3 grand. And so I'm like, fuck it, I guess whatever. And I roll again, and it gives me the fucking double up thing, the double bonus. So now if I bonus again, I can make a ton of money. But if I lose, the next bet is $320. And as soon as I hit past $50, he's like, okay, now I have to like take your card and like charge you, so that if you lose, they didn't tear when it was 5, 10, $20, whatever, but past 50, they're like, we got to charge you for each of these bets, or else, we could get nothing if you walk away, right? And I'm like, you know what? This is too much. I told myself when I was walking over, I was going to play 2 bets. In my head, I was like, you know what? If I go above 100, 150, I'm not going to go above it. If I lose it, I can walk away. That's what I could afford to lose right now. I just made a bunch of money. Fuck it. I'll play with 100, 150 bucks. I don't want to lose 300 something dollars right now. That's like the hotel that I was going to get and all the lobster in the world. And he's like, come on, man. You're so close. You're so close, dude. And I'm like, I'm good, dude. I'm ready to cut my loss. And then he's like, how about this? How about this? You win the money and you get the flat screen TV. I'm like, that I don't need that, dude. And he's like, how about this? You get 2 more rolls because I would only get 1 more roll with this bet. And they just know all these things to suck you in, right? I'm like, all right, 2 more rolls. I gotta get a 5 or a 10. I think I'm at 95 points, by the way, almost at 100. And I'm like, all right, fuck it. For 2 rolls, not 1, whatever. So I roll again, $320. The first one does the fucking double thing, right? He's like, it's okay, it's okay. You get another free roll and you get, even more prize. So I roll again. The next one gives me nothing. Gives me a single free roll. And I'm like, I'm getting mad. Now I'm getting mad at this dude because I'm like watching how quickly he counts and swipes them away. And I've already been telling him, stop swiping away so fast. Let me count too. And I've been counting, and he's right. He's fast at counting, but he's not faking the numbers. The problem was he faked the numbers in those very first 2 rolls to get me to 50, 65. Everything since then has been accurate. And so eventually I'm like, I roll the last one and I'm like, I'm done. And I'm not, I just lost $320. I'm fucking walking away, bro. And he's like, you're so close, bro. Nobody gets to 95. And I'm like, dude, I get it, but I'm done. I should have walked away. And he's like doing everything he can to keep you there, right? Like he goes, listen. I was like, dude, I just want to enjoy the beach today. I've already lost a half hour of beach time doing this stupid fucking game. And the guy behind him opens up a backpack full of money, like American dollars and pesos and like bricks. He's like, people really win, bro. That's why I have all this money. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to the beach. And he's like, I'll tell you what. And he writes down my score. And he's like, you come back later this evening. I'll still have your score. You can resume where you are, bro. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I walk away, leave. Go get a beer, sit on the beach. Before I even go in, I'm like, what the fuck just happened, dude? I never get Gringo this tired, dude. What happened? I Google the best I can for this game. I Google game with 8 marbles gambling game, and it brings up, dude. It goes Razzle. You could Google this when we're done with this. Razzle, a common known scam invented in Cuban casinos. It isn't a game. It's an actual scam. There's 0 way to fucking win this. And it tells me everything he did. It's like they give you sweet numbers off the back. And then after that, no comment. 95% of your rolls will keep hitting this double up roll to keep you enticed because you're thinking you're going to make so much. And the reason nobody ever hits it is most people blow their limit. Like they gamble through their entire credit card allowance before they could get that last 5 or 10 points. So it's possible. It's like 0.1% possible to win, but you just can't afford to make it there. You would spend more to get there than you would win. So now I'm livid. I'm like, I want to go back and fucking beat the shit out of these guys because I should call them out and like tell everybody else who's up there at the moment, like, this is a scam. Don't keep playing. This is a scam. Because if you didn't know this game, you would think, it's gambling, but there's a way to win this gamble. But it's a fucking scam. And so
Then you get beat up.
$20 and sat there all day on my first beach day in Sayulita, like, God fucking damn it, dude. I just got Gringo. Harrison would be crying, laughing at me right now on this fucking beach. I just sat there drinking beer, looking at the sunset.
No, I wouldn't have let you do it. I would have been like, Joe, no, we're not fucking doing it.
Yeah, dude.
All right,
So,
quickly before we go, this reminds me of another story
Please.
where Greg Karostik, and his wife, and me and Lilia, my wife, we're in Paris, and it's all these gypsies. This sounds like a gypsy game, by the way, what you just described.
yeah,
They're playing this like the cup game, like the ball into the cup game, like, and they're putting down like $20 and they're winning like 40, and they're like putting it, and like we're watching them like, it's fucking easy, like, and we're watching for like 20 seconds, like I know, it's that cup, and man, it was like so quick. I like throw down like $20, lose, put down another, like in like And the whole time, like literally both our wives are like grabbing our arms, like, stop it. And we're like, no, we're men. We know what
You're
we're doing.
addicted. Yeah. Yeah.
And in like 15 seconds, we both lost like $100 each. And we're just like, wait, what? And then they packed up and like ran off. And we're like, what just happened? And they're both of our girls are looking at us like, you fucking idiots. And we're like, oh, women are smart.
Yeah. That's so funny. When I got back from the beach, back up into that town area to eat, it was gone. So they just scam the area for an hour or two, and then they hop in their big van and they leave and they go scam the next area. So I learned a valuable lesson there that day is winner's mentality is dangerous, because when you win and you think, oh, you feel like you're the man, you're going to do everything that day. Like I could talk to whoever I want. I could do this. You think when I stepped up there, I'm like, I'm so lucky the way I just won this tournament in overtime. I'm gonna fucking win this game. Like I thought there's no way I was gonna lose, right? So I kind of played myself. It was the worst. They saw me coming down the street and they're like, there's the target. American guy looking like he thinks he's a winner, and I got gringoed hard. So that's pretty much the story. The last thing I was gonna ask you real quick, because this is an important segment that I always want to hit, is something that I've learned when we travel is you get to learn a lot about the world, the place you're in, culture, people. But every single time I've traveled, I've realized I get to learn about myself too. There's always some self-discovery in it. So let's just say this trip you're on, did you get to learn anything new about yourself?
I think I'm still actually in that process right now. I'm like in a transitional period where my wife went back home and I'm now traveling alone. And that was just in the past like 5 to 7 days. I forget when she left. So it's like a transitional, like going from like dual travel to solo is always different. And they're both good. They both have their advantages and disadvantages for sure. So and you're right. You learn so much about yourself traveling, like what your tendencies are, and when you're scared and not, and when you're brave and not, and like just all these things. And this trip has been really, really fun and really like packed with action and adventure and fun. And it's really it makes the low times like seem way lower, because like today I didn't do much. I actually was working most of the day, and now I'm talking with you. And it was kind of like a low day, and I didn't like go scuba diving or hike a mountain or like fucking go to a waterfall or something crazy cool,
Yeah.
or see proboscis monkey. So like it's just about like having evenness during that time, because and it could be just extrapolated out in life where there's good times and bad times in life, and there's busy times and there's boring times and fun times. And I guess it's not one like thing that I learned, but it's just more experience on it, and kind of learning better ways and more tools to get over. When you called me this morning, I had just gotten off like an hour-long meditation, which is just a tool to help yourself, or most people find it's helpful to do meditations. So
yeah,
the one I was doing particularly was called Apasana, Apasana. I would encourage anyone to take a look at it.
yeah,
It's really just focusing on your breath and breathing.
that's a good one.
But so I guess I hope that kind of answered your question. It wasn't very specific, but
No, it's good. I mean, I like to. This is like the deep part of travel. That it's the most important part to me. Is like
what do you learn about yourself? Like, what do you gravitate towards naturally when there's no one else to hide behind? Like when you're home, you have all those things that you always do. So you're like, I know how to entertain myself. And when you're out there, especially by yourself, you're like, what is it I actually want to do? And that's where you really learn who you are. Like if you're more introverted or extroverted. And I guess the other like part B to that question would be like, do you ever use travel to work on anything? Like you use it kind of as practice to, like I use it a lot to practice social skills because you can invent the you that you want to be out in different worlds. And it's made me a lot who I am when I started traveling internationally. So do you ever like consciously do things like that, like work on fears or faults or weaknesses when you travel?
I don't know if I particularly like consciously do that. I mean, I try to journal more when when I travel. I try to like take those low times, like when you're on a bus or plane or whatever, to do reflection and like this time I was trying to do the 10-day um, silent meditation. It didn't happen.
Mhm.
Um, so I guess that one. I think like it's really interesting to travel like as frugally as possible. It just makes for a better adventure. Like when you're backpacking and like you can take the luxury hotel or you can take the hostel. Like it really makes it more fun because when you're at a luxury hotel and you try to talk to somebody and make friends, you're a weirdo, right? And when you're at a hostel, you're just a regular dude and you're hanging out and you're a fun loving guy.
True.
So
So
that's why
true.
I always gravitate towards hostels and things, especially when alone. Like you just meet other interesting people and you learn so much from them, practical
Mhm.
things and impractical things.
You connect.
I met these two Chinese girls 2 days ago, and I was like, teach me about China. Like, I want to learn more about that and maybe travel there and learn more. So, and I can speak like a little Chinese, so I was improving that. And then, and then languages actually is a big one. Like this time particularly, like my Thai got way better. I mean, I'm still kindergarten level or worse, but um, I'm quite the linguistic. I would say to say. I mean, I speak four
Yeah.
languages. Um, English, Spanish fluently. My Russian and German are quite conversational. Well, my German's conversational. My Russian's more basic. Um, and then like Thai, a little bit of Malay, some Chinese. Like I can understand Italian, some French, like whatever else. But I
Mhm.
really enjoy like learning languages. I just think it's so practical when you're traveling and like it's just a challenge. It's such a like learning Thai, for example, it's such a challenge. But when you like can get it, and when you can like form a sentence and like go to the store and like I can order food, like I know
Mhm.
I know how to say pig, pork, egg, fish, like all those things. Can I have this? How much does it cost? Like do you like it? I like it. Like you know, I'm gonna go here. Like asking, like it's just so cool to like
Yeah.
just be able to talk to like grandma over there. Like in her own language. And I don't know. I find that particularly fascinating. Um,
Mm.
and you get such a like you can learn so much more about the culture when you have some even just some basic words because you can pick up things and um, reading signs helps. Like I can yeah. Anyways, that's a good one. I think languages.
That's
It's particularly also like it's particularly also when I go to South America, I get really excited because I know I'm going to be leveling up my Spanish, 1%
mhm.
or 5% or whatever that is. Every time I go, I learn more words and more everything. Even though like I'm quite fluent at it, there's just words and things I don't know.
Mhm.
But I'm very conversational. So and I really think like language is such an important facet of life, and particularly like such an amazing gift you can give somebody is to teach them a language. which is why if I ever do have kids, I plan to actually only speak Spanish to my child. If I did have a child, which is still
That'd be
undetermined.
cool. Yeah.
But yeah, that would be my plan. And to my nephew, I only speak Spanish to him. I don't think it's gonna stick. I don't see him enough, but we'll see.
You'll
And,
have a kid
if it's a few
someday.
words,
Yeah, you'll speak Spanish. Lily will speak Russian. The kid will be unbelievably smart way earlier than we all. He'll develop quicker. But
yeah,
that is cool. I like that you said that because I felt like I was always out there looking for ways to like work on um, like character traits, and I see you out there working on like these like life skill accolades. Like, oh, I'm here. I may as well learn the language, and that's something that that's what I see you trying to do to like build into yourself. And yeah, it's fucking sweet. It's very interesting.
cool. Thank you. Is this paintball passport have an Instagram?
It does.
Okay, cool.
It's
All right,
just
I'll get on
paintball
that.
passport.
Cool. I love it. I love the name. I love all that, and I think next time let's get into actually like how using paintball as a tool can get you into these places, because it's easy to look back now and say like, oh yeah, like for me, like, oh, I got a clinic in Borneo this weekend, like that was very easy to make, right? But when I before I was on pro teams and stuff like that, was a very difficult thing for me to do, and it took a lot of networking and putting my own dime out there. And my first time to Mexico, I paid for everything, right? And I've been for the past 6 years invited back every single event, right, and getting paid to go, just because the first time I went, I paid for everything. We won, I played good, and now literally that one time investment has paid for 6, maybe even 7 years of going to Mexico 5 times a year, right?
Yep.
And getting paid for it, right? So, putting yourself out, we'll get into that.
Yeah,
But
trust me when I say
that'd be a
that is
really good
coming.
topic. And I think like particularly you and myself and like, can really speak on that, because we did not have the silver spoon of getting on a pro team really early and having that clout and everything. I mean, it was a lot of grinding.
Those are episodes that are coming. There's
Cool.
a lot of tension behind this podcast. One is to share people's favorite travel stories. One is to like catch up with current events when people just went to a new place, Colombia, their first time. I'm calling them. And then the other thing, I wasn't going to sign you up for a new project without your permission, but a lot of times I call you, your travel hacks, tips, and advice aren't just going to be for that place or for the travel itself, but me and you were going to discuss. We're trying to inspire other paintballers to hopefully pursue pro ball to get this life that we live, but we also want to help them do it. So we're gonna like basically share all and give like the way that we got started, how we got there, and I'm gonna be a network. Like I'm gonna tell people, DM the paintball passport page, and maybe I can connect you. Maybe I know a team that's like, yeah, you want to bring a D3 player with you as the pro, because we've done that too. We've brought the Todd Boyers and the random people with us. So this whole project it's another way that I've been thinking about giving back, and we're gonna get more people out there in the world playing these fucking sweet bucket list events and having stories like the ones you just shared.
I love that. I'm actually really proud of what I did with the Droogs, the Frankfurt Droogs. When I got on the team 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was speaking to the owner, and he's like, hey, we can have like, I don't care, I'll help manage, infinite teams. There's not sponsorship, but, we can have more teams. And I just made a few posts like, anybody that wants to come play in Europe, if you suck, if you're D10, or if you're pro, like approach me and we'll place you on a team. And it really evolved into like a big family. We had like 6 or 7 teams over there, and most of them were Americans coming over, and their first time ever playing in Europe. Was I'm very proud, and I mean, the team wasn't. We didn't win a whole lot of events and stuff, but just to be able to give those opportunities, like, to people that had no network and no ability to,
Yes.
maybe they had financial ability, but no like networking ability to go over and like play a tournament with a German team. Like, that's fucking cool, right?
I
And
remember
my
when you
first
did
time
that.
going to Europe was I took a lot of networking.
Yeah. Oh, I remember when you did that, and that was very just cool and genuine to be like, hey, reach out, we'll figure it out and just get you out there. And half of them were people that you didn't even know. You know what I mean? They were just people where
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's another paintballer. So I know that they're part of my community, and doing stuff like that, like, shout out to Marcelo and Tyler for like making a community with the PTG thing and the Goat
that's
Club and all
awesome.
that. It's so great to make community, but like I really liked that when you did that, it was like you didn't make a community, you just bridged parts of the community that are all far away from each other together. And I feel like that's kind of what I want to do with this is like paintball is a big sport, but it's also small. It's small enough that you can meet almost everybody in it. And
Mhm.
then it's big enough that you can use those networks to be like, well, now I know so and so. So when I go over there, if I can't afford the hotels, at least I can couch surf in Berlin or Australia or whatever. And we've done all that too. Like this has done so much for giving us an easier way to travel and see the world and making it affordable and possible. And I feel like we can make this like not once again, not make it, but we can be the bridge that connects all the people in our sweet sport community and kind of makes them all realize like, okay, cool, we're all on the same page. Like, yep, any one of you, thousands of people, you have a free pass at my couch. You know what I mean? Like, come
Right.
see our country, come try this event. So yeah, that's the intention.
Yeah, I always thought I have thought about that before, like having an international calendar, international event calendar where people can like post up like, I want to play this, and then here's my ranking, and then like a team saying, we need a guy. It's not sponsored. Here's the price. Like everyone's chipping in or whatever, or maybe it is sponsored. I always thought of like making some kind of calendar. It'd be pretty. I think it'd be pretty simple.
If you want to
But
do it, let's do it.
yeah,
Because I keep thinking about the same thing, like making a forum where people can post and see people that are like, I want to play this event. And then other teams go, oh, well, we only have 6. We could use 7. So if you want to kind of do that project, I'd be about that. I guess I'll say right here, as weird as this is, if anybody else thinks that's a sweet idea, when this goes up, then comment it. Like, let us know if that'd be
yeah,
something that you divisional players would be sweet, and we'll try to figure out a way to make something that can make this easier.
yeah. And if you have any tech knowledge that can help us build that, or if you're willing to volunteer
Nice.
time on aggregating dates together and managing uh, you know dates and events and shit. That's where a lot of it comes in, but it can be super rewarding. But
Yeah.
let's stop here, dude. It's
Yep.
almost 3 hours in.
Yeah.
I gotta get some food. I have only eaten breakfast today,
Okay.
and it's now nighttime. So there's
Sweet.
where I'm
Well,
at.
oh man. Well, go enjoy the beautiful night in whatever epic particular strip of area you're in. I hope you have a great time.
Borneo.
I look forward to seeing when you get back. Probably playing against you in Vegas. But fuck yeah, dude. Much love. Thanks for coming on and sharing some stories.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. It's a good outlet, and I'll be on again for sure.
Oh yeah.
There's plenty to talk about.
Yep.
All right, cool.
All right.
Peace.
Later.